Well, I'll just start the recording and see if something happens.
Yeah.
It's happening now. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
You're live. Are you awake? I'm not.
Oh, shit. How do I get... Every time I sit down something on my desk, there's always these weird... Like, I got some grease or some water on something. What's going on here?
That's how it works.
Yeah, well.
That's just attract all sorts of weird things.
It's probably somehow from when I, ate a breakfast on here.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm pretty sure nothing left to plate anywhere.
Yeah.
But whatever, that note card was filled with old time codes anyway. By the way, audience, in case you're curious, yes, I physically have notes on note cards and notepads, which indicate the number of seconds that a audio is so I can turn it into a video. That's how we make videos, everybody.
Yep.
A peek behind the curtain. Okay, well, we faffed around for 60 seconds there with my story, so I'll go ahead and remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Iga Comics, Blacklist OG, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Rogue Robin, Shawnee P, some guy named Bob, Soda0424, I'm going to give me 75, and if you like what you do, and you like what you do, and you really like what we do, you should consider supporting us on Patreon, because maybe one of these days, we'll use those to pay for speech lessons. That's a lie. But it doesn't really help us out.
No, probably not.
We're busy. Okay.
Anyway, so is this what?
Go ahead.
Is this what's up going to be the one that is titled the one that is about Final Fantasy VII?
That was my plan. By the way, I would just like to, before we get started on that, I would just like to let the audience know that we have disk space remaining for 343 hours and 3 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
So let's see how much of a dent we can put in that. Because I'm pretty sure we could talk for literally 3 hours about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Hi, I've been playing it. I'm 8 hours in. Literally just finished Chapter 7.
I've beaten it. I've put in... my clear time is clocked at 42 and a half hours. And right now I'm playing it again through its chapter select just because I fucking want to. Yep.
Oh boy, where to be? Well, okay. Are we actually just going to go ahead and jump into Final Fantasy VII Remake? Is there anything else you want to talk about? Okay, that's fair. Not really. I can say a fair warning. I originally planned to catch up and watch episodes 2 and 3 of Hamefuda today, but I got them queued up, but I did not because I played more Final Fantasy VII, so that's kind of where I am at in life.
Yeah, so as I said, I beat it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna try and avoid any major spoilers because, as Omega said, he's only in Chapter 7.
So yeah, I want to phrase it this way, audience. There will not be this is not a spoiler cast, a deep dive on the whole of the 40 hours going on with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Sorry, I talked over Lucky. Pop his monster.
That's fine.
I know you guys love that.
I'm thirsty.
However, we have both beaten the original Final Fantasy VII many, many years ago. Lucky may or may not remember that Crisis Core exists, what happened in it.
Hey, I beat Crisis Core and I beat Dirge of Cerberus.
I know, but it's do you remember those?
No.
I never played Crisis Core. I vaguely remember what happens in Dirge. Something, Gak music, something, Vincent feels bad. We made up another weapon. Who knows? That said, there will probably be, if you are one of the few people who do exist, they are out there, though, who have never tried Final Fantasy VII in any form. First of all, there are actually some differences, so you may want to pick it up on, Steam or PSN or something and play the original. For one thing, that will take you way longer than 40 hours.
Yeah, it will.
Oh boy, will it. And yet somehow it's smaller. Funny how that works. But it is its own experience. That said, it's been out for over 20 years, so...
I definitely can say it has not aged the most gracefully.
No, the translation was not the quality that we get these days usually. They were This was one of the first games on the PlayStation that experimented with 3D models, so the field models are really, really blocky. Think about how in Metal Gear Solid, they used very squarish guns, right? Because those were very easy to render on the PlayStation. Well, it's the same thing with 7. That was one of the first games, so everything is really blobby in the battlefield scenes. They had some great fucking 2D matte paintings, though, which are lovingly recreated in the remake.
Oh, yeah. Basically, how the game worked in there is they just make giant matte paintings that your character would just basically... Your character will almost basically walk around on a flat surface. It was just...
Yeah, it was almost like how Resident Evil used to be, we should say. Mm-hmm. Where it was fixed camera angles every screen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's basically, we're giving you the warning now. If you've never played 7 at all, we are probably going to talk about, in the course of this conversation, the greater VII oeuvre. So we're not going to specifically spoil anything in Remake, but if you haven't picked it up yet, but if you haven't played 7 at all, we're probably going to talk about some stuff in there, which you may or may not be spoilers, but also some of that stuff's like, oh, it's pretty iconic, but anyway.
Yeah.
You had some thoughts on this sort of thing earlier this week. It's kind of I feel like there is definitely a conversation to be had where it's like, on the one hand, it really is annoying if you don't know stuff to be like, oh, well, that's just, it's old, right?
Yeah.
But also, it really sucks to be the guys who are having a conversation to be like, man, it's a fucking 20-year-old game, guys.
Yeah, I definitely had a mood about this because there's something about Final Fantasy VII that they actually do they implicate a lot of the greater Final Fantasy VII lore. Like, as I said, I've played some things. Like, I've played Crisis Core, I've played Danger Cerberus, but there are other things I haven't played. Like, there's apparently an entire side story that features the Turks, which is called The Kids Are Alright. And characters from that are also featured in here. So this is me who have no ideas going into this character. I'm trying to draw my own conclusions, and people are just like, no, they're just from this. I'm just all like, could you have not? Because, it's one thing for, spoilers is always that touchy subject, Because, of course, it's never good to, just up and tell someone a secret, but at the same time, there's that certain point where the secret is no longer a secret. There's just people who are ignorant about it.
Yeah, so, and then there's also just a lot of the, like I said, there's just, once enough time has gone by, it's really hard to step on eggshells all the time with everybody, it gets tiring. Especially with subjects like 7. Like, I know you had this mood. Also, I feel like that the person involved in it, you know who you are. You're okay. It's alright, buddy. I got you. But, people who have been playing this game are starting to get a little, it's been a couple weeks, they're starting to get a little vibrating to talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's see. So so we talked about Nomura. Who was the original? Okay. Kitakaze was the director on the first 7. So there's definitely some Nomura flair. But I pulled up the Wikipedia list of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, which I don't think even does all the stuff. But let's see. So we got the games included before Crisis, which was the phone RPG, which never released in the West. Dirge of Cerberus, obviously.
That's the phone was the one that involves the avalanche, right?
Yes. It was an action RPG split into 24 episodes with an episode delivery system based on a monthly subscription service.
Wow.
But yeah. It was on fucking flip phones in the year 2004. That's how crazy Japan has been. There's Dirge of Cerberus, obviously we mentioned earlier, Crisis Core. There's Advent Children, which kind of kicked this off, the sequel film.
Yep.
Which includes the complete version. The OVA Last Order.
I always forget about Last Order.
Which I've seen parts of. Yeah, that's supposed to be official. And then let's see. So we've got numerous tie-in media. So there was On the Way to a Smile, which compiles Case of Denzel, The Turks, The Kids Are Alright, is the set time before that. There's also a mobile racing game, and lots and lots of other stuff. There were quite a few light novels and other tie-ins in the whole thing. So it's big.
It's big.
And you feel a lot of that weight in Remake.
Yeah.
Having just finished Chapter 7, you talked about this a little last night, but you're right that they really hammer on about that Wutai thing.
Yeah.
Like, way more than the original.
Well, I think it's good because, as I said, it gives motivations, I think, and maybe acts why people act the way they do, because something that I actually really do like about Final Fantasy Remake is they add a lot of just people just living their lives.
So, I was going to say this about talking about the overall quality of the product, before we get into anything necessarily about the narrative or whatever. In general, the thing to remember about 7 is, while all of you remember the Midgar part, you know why you remember it? One, because it was a very, very good opening act, but also it was like 6 hours. And it was like the first 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours, so you remember it very well, probably. There may still be people, especially now the remake is out and it only covers Midgar, but there may still be people who are like, there was more to Final Fantasy VII than Midgar. Because the game gets real esoteric out of there. We've had this conversation a couple of times about what the fuck will sequels to Remake do, right? And so we'll see. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in general, Remake is a vast expansion to Midgar, because Midgar is the most iconic and memorable part of the game in a singular setting, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody jokes about the gold saucer, but it's really only a few areas and a bunch of mini-games, you know?
Mhm.
There's some iconic scenes later, but those are brief moments, right? Midgar is the place you remember. And we'll talk about the OST, but it's a place that's full of music that never ever recurs either.
Mm-hmm.
All of its own unique themes and stuff. So, for one, I have to say Remake does something that I wanted it to do, which it, like you said, it definitely expands on a lot of the world building and a lot of the characters and just the stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, you know, the Wutai thing, that was mentioned a couple of times and was obviously in the background. It's relevant for, Yuffie's whole side story as a party member.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Apparently, like, I don't know if you got to this point, but apparently one of Wutai's demand is Midgar fucking surrender all the materia that they have to them. I was all like, oh, so this isn't just a Yuffie thing.
No, I believe that, because, I think the Avalanche guys in the warehouse mentioned that too. That they got Wutai to supply them with arms in exchange for all the materia that's in Midgar. Yes, I believe the point is that Wutai didn't have materia in the war, so they really fucking love materia because it's really cool, and that's why they got their ass kicked. So they're just like, oh, this is a really great weapon you have. We're gonna take all of it. Mm-hmm. And again, we'll presumably. You know, Wutai will be a segment at some point in this Remake series.
Well, I'm hoping it would actually be a major segment and not just a side quest hellhole.
Yes. It would be... if they steal all our materia for a long period of time, it's going to be really annoying.
Yeah.
And yes, by the way, that's the thing that happened. That's why everybody hates Wutai, and a lot of people don't like Yuffie, is literally in her side quest. If you go to Wutai with her in the party, she knocks you out, steals all your materia, and you have to do her whole side quest with no materia, including at least one boss.
One boss via random man Don Cornero. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's also the other reason why it's got to come back, because that's Don Corneo's basically the end of his arc, because he gets away scot-free otherwise.
Yeah,
at least in the original. Not there. I'm getting close.
Yeah, I'm about to. Don Cornero.
By the way,
also
speaking though of tiny details, love the. I caught it when Barrett was like, and here is your grappling hook. And I'm like, oh, I see where this is going. And then it happened. And I'm like, yep. It still breaks kind of early. Cloud, you're very resilient. Cloud's a tough boy. Cloud's also a hard boy. He's not a soft boy.
No, well, he acts a hard boy, but he's secretly a soft boy.
As are most people. Fucking Biggs dodging Barrett's like, bring it in. And Biggs is just like, nope. Not doing that. But yeah, so that's another thing, right? Is characterization is big, but overall, this really hammered that. They're really leaning into the whole Cloud's PTSD thing.
Honestly, I think they lean maybe a little too hard.
Yeah, it does seem like it's happening with every major plot point. Is he gets a little, that is kind of how Midgar is paced, but Midgar's there's a lot less beats in Midgar in the original. Obviously, like I said, because it's shorter, so It definitely feels like in a 40-hour experience it's going to happen more. But yeah, we're leaning way into... Because there was This Guy Are Sick, that infamous guy, but I don't remember if he was supposed to be a numbered guy or not. They leaned way harder into the Black Cloak and the numbers and the shit way earlier, which I appreciate because, again, that's the really weird thing about 7. When you get out of Midgar, the game is completely different. It's about something completely different until... Yeah. I guess the end of Disc 1, then it kind of wraps back around to, oh shit, we're all on the same page again.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Like, honestly, the more I thought about it, 7's story's kind of a mess. It has some good beats, but it just kind of shoots itself everywhere. And then kind of lands back on. We've had that
conversation before. That was something I said before this came out. I was like, because we were thinking about some people were rumbling about narrative changes, and I was just like, I gotta be honest, I don't know if changes are bad, because... if you're trying to build a consistent story that's not built on wandering through the woods a lot, you're gonna have to do something to, like, change up the pacing and bring other elements up. To say nothing of anything, it's like, ooh, we have whole new twists because everybody knows the twists in this game. Not that I know necessarily anything, but I do know that some people have said that Nomura some things.
I guess I can say it this way. The way that the ending is the party tries to fight against their destiny. And I'm gonna leave it vague like that, but it definitely leaves me in a state of, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean that's gonna happen? And in the end, they're basically saying, this unknown journey will continue. And I'm just all like, oh, so they're actually trying to do something actually completely different. And, well, maybe not completely different, but they're trying to go away from the original story. And I'm just like, I don't know if I entirely want that.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's good that they're trying to escape the bounds of the franchise.
Well, I'll say this.
Are.
I think it's a good idea for them to do something different in a sense, right? Like, while on the one hand, I love all the stuff they've done. We'll probably talk about graphical at some point before maybe we do like a blow by blow. But like, overall, this is a beautiful game, a wonderful experience. It's technically very well made. There's some stuff with the hitting people and the fightings, but we'll get there. It's not a beautiful, perfect snowflake or anything.
No, it's not.
It looks like a beautiful and perfect snowflake.
But even though I can admit it's not like perfect, it's still what I wanted.
Yeah, but then that's the thing, right? It's like there is, especially with the way that you can get it on basically anything now. Can't you get it on Switch now? The original 7? It's been ported to a lot of things. It still exists and it's still playable and it's not bad. Like, obviously, graphically, it's going to have aged very poorly. The translation's going to be a little weird in places, though most people just... I mentioned This Guy Are Sick earlier, which is a famous grammatical error. There's a few of those, right? But most of those, I think people who remember the game just remember it with affection. That's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they fucked up the translation, because it was 1997. So, kind of going your own way is almost the only way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like...
Well, because, like, here's the thing, like, this isn't a remaster or an HD upgrade. This is a complete and utter remake, so things are gonna change.
Yeah, we are making this game again from square one.
Yeah.
And I think some of the narrative changes, you can already see the fact that it's 2020 now, it's no longer 1997.
People got cell phones.
Yeah, they got phones, the languages are kind of different, everybody says shit now, just because that is how our culture is. But also another thing is, I think what a lot of people caught this in the demo. They kind of fiddled with the eco-terrorism a little bit, because in the original, I'm pretty sure nobody complains about how big the bomb was, other than just, oh, that was a little big. There is no wringing of hands over the fact that we totally blew up some innocent people. But that was in 1997. It is now 2020. We are in a post 9/11 world, and even the Japanese have globally, as a society, as a human race, we have different opinions on terrorism now. So while we like the changes to that part of the narrative, one, remind us that Shinra are fuckers, because they always are. They always have been. High dropping the plate. Talking about overkill. They're trying to get 5 dudes and a whole plate. It was probably Heidegger's idea. By the way, love that they sneak those guys in more. It's great. But still, right, they've changed it so that, like, your first bomb, even though Jessie says she made it more powerful than she needed to be, it was probably just strong enough to maybe disable the reactor. It did break some stuff. But it was not, oh, we're going to blow the entire reactor up. But not only do we, the player, know it's not their fault, but then the characters agonize. Like, Jessie has a whole subquest, a whole chapter, where we go out of our way because she's concerned about her bomb. And, it's got that whole setup element, which that definitely changes the tone a little, but it makes sense, because it would be a little tone deaf if we were just, even though I think we are more environmentally conscious, right? Which... Oddly enough, the narrative of environmentalism and fucking over the planet hasn't gone away in 20 years. Though it is, I feel like it's much, much more played up that Mako is a metaphor for petroleum. But anyway, it's still like, we also have different opinions of terrorism, I think, now.
Yeah.
That said, I love that sequence. One, because it gives us more motorcycle, which is good. That was smart. Also, because it builds the idea that Cloud can ride a motorcycle already, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the one thing that bugs me about the terrorism is Barrett just seems to give only literally that has a black or white world about it.
That's very much Disc 1 Barrett, though.
Yeah, it is. Well, actually, no, but I'm gonna start right off. When Barrett first started, in this game, I didn't like him.
No, you don't, because he's a huge dickbag to you in Reactor number 1.
Yeah, and his literally only 2 settings are basically it's Shinra's fault or how do I want to phrase this? Oh no, his only setting is it's Shinra's fault. And he doesn't, and he's the kind of person that basically says the ends justify the means.
Yes.
They actually,
Barrett, starting out the game, Barrett is the guy who stubs his toe and goes, Shinra did this.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you dumbass, you stubbed your toe. What'd you say to me? Stamp, soldier boy? I'm like, okay. Excuse me. Pardon me. I, Cloud Strife, I'm a professional. Fuck you very much, buddy.
By the way, it took me a minute to understand what the stamp reference is.
Because that's a whole new thing.
Yeah. Stamp is basically Shinra's, mascot friendly mascot dog.
I love it. It's a fucking army dog. Like, it's a dog in a army helmet, and I love him. He's got his own theme song.
He does.
And Barrett has a discussion about cute tools turned to evil.
I said post plate drop, Barrett makes a kind of what's the word I want to say? A personality shift.
That is definitely the point in the original where Barrett was like, "Oh shit, I may have fucked up."
Yeah, it's because, and later, I'm gonna spoil this for you. You do not arrive to the president's office to find him dead. The president actually gets to point some very direct questions at Barrett about will the people thank him for this as he tries to destroy the life they know, and Barrett's just like, Oh
man, he already pulled that when you see. Also, by the way, that's a great sequence they did. They changed the Reactor 5 thing where Heidegger and the president show up in holograph form. So that makes actually physically meeting him more important. In the original, the president strolls out of the reactor and is like, "Here's my airbuster. Check him out." But here he talks back and forth, and the president says something very, very, very interesting and very, very important, because I think it's not really clear. It might be more in the Japanese, but at least in the original English, it's not very clear if people understand what the fuck Mako is.
Yeah.
But here the president says it loud and clear. People understand what Mako energy is, but do they care about the cost? No, they give us more money.
Yeah. And
I mean, Barrett's probably not wrong about the brainwashing because they have state-run... It's literally a corporate state, Midgar.
Yeah. Yes.
But still, the president raises a good point that, no, dude, people are pissed off. Tifa's the same thing when you're turning off the sun lamps, which, by the way, that's a great detail they added. It was like, how is there anybody living under the plate? Oh, they built giant fucking lamps.
I find this interesting. Even though they're called slums, there has been fucking things done to make the area fucking livable for them. There's public transportation down there.
Oh, no, because you know that Shinra Man knows that he needs... It's just like real life. He needs a place to keep all the workers who do all the bullshit, while his employees live in corporate housing blocks, which is another great world-building ad.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Jessie's mom and dad live. And her dad has Mako poisoning and is confined to a bed. That's not gonna come back. That said, like I said, I love that fucking sequence, because when you get to the warehouse, and it's just like, okay, Cloud, just body 1 million dudes, and you're like, okay, I'm Cloud Strife, I'm gonna body 1 million dudes. Because we talked about this before. I heard complaints about the original Dirge of Cerberus, which was like, oh, it's kind of sad that because it was, Square Enix has a very, very robust cutscene team. They made several movies out of their CG team, including Advent Children. But some people were like, "Oh, it's so." The reviews were like, "Man, it kind of sucks that Vincent in cutscenes is super cool, and in the actual gameplay, you can jump a foot off the ground, kind of."
I mean, it was a PS2 game, and
yes.
It's
That said, you still can't jump in this game either, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But no, when Cloud, cuts a guy in a single stroke in cutscene, that's exactly how he moves in game. There's that high level of verisimilitude, and I just love that sequence. And also, they did something good where they started adding quirky mini bosses early, because I feel like soldier characters were way more prominent in, or that kind of character was way more prominent in the compilation, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's multiple soldiers you hang out with in Crisis Core. There's the whole deep ground guys, the Sviets in Dirge. There's the 3... What do they call it again? The English for Advent Children is a little clunky. What are they like? Sephiroth Larva? Whatever the fuck those guys were. Those 3 assholes.
Yeah, I don't remember. But, yeah, and here's something I think that I liked is they took, like, I don't know, I can't remember, but they basically took enemies that were like interesting and unique and just made them like one-time like mini bosses, so you still see the enemy but you don't have to fight like a fucking
yeah, I've heard people talk about the house. That's gonna be great when I get there.
Yeah, the house, there's like the buzzsaw fish thing, fucking the some of the mechs are only show up like as mini bosses. They don't show up all the fucking time.
Yeah, they did a lot because 7 had... I'm pretty sure they just told the modeling department to go apeshit. So yeah. 7 has some very, very interesting enemies. If you're like, what the fuck are these moonbeams or these weird shock troopers or whatever? Nope! Those are all pretty authentic.
Yeah.
Those are all what enemies looked like. And battle sprites were... I mean, they're a little low res, but the battle sprites were fairly detailed in 7. So that's mostly how they look like. A lot of people are excited for future games if we can get Triceratops back, which was a rare enemy in Gun Reactor, I think, which is literally a Triceratops with tank treads.
Yes.
I don't know why, I don't know how, but it was a thing.
It was a thing, and it was hilarious.
There's a lot of designs like that.
Mm-hmm. But, like, so basically, like, a lot of your enemies are basically just kind of basic mutant beast and human soldiers, but every once in a while you run into something crazy, and you're like, now it's a mini-boss fight. And I've heard some people complaining, I guess we're talking about this, complaining that they don't like how every mini-boss has, like, several stages, and I'm like, no, give me that shit.
I gotta be honest, I feel like that's better, because here's the thing. Okay, we're talking about gameplay. I generally like the combat, it feels pretty good most of the time, but there are a couple of little niggles, because they kept things pretty... It's an action RPG, but they kept a lot of the mechanical design pretty close to the original, so... You can't do jack shit other than basic attacks without ATB bars. That means even items, which sucks a lot.
Yeah.
It's real rough. Your allies have basically no AI.
No, they just run around and do basic attacks until you take control of them manually or command them
with the tactical menu, which I like the tactical menu. It's a button press. It's really easy to pull up. It slows time just like when you input commands on your active character. It's still a little clunky. The game clearly, they put a lot of effort into making it a smooth transition between characters, which it is, and you really should be. I especially feel that way for Airburster, having just done that boss. That is very much a like, okay, so you gotta smoothly transition to Cloud or Tifa, and then to Barret, and then back.
Yeah, like, that's the thing, like, as much as you might want to play Cloud, do not just play fucking Cloud.
No, actually, I didn't really necessarily intend this, but I figured it would work. But I found the elemental materia in the underplate and I gave it to Tifa, so I was like, well, I'll just swap the order so you have lightning fists, and so I mostly use Tifa and Barret in Airburster, with Cloud being kind of like either backup because naturally Cloud has the best healing materia because there are parts where you play as just him. So,
yes.
You need to make sure he's pretty well equipped. I do also appreciate they really compacted the materia. Because that's the thing, materia was supposed to last you almost through this whole fucking game, right?
Like, shoot, you can get to the end of the game and still not have fucking, like, high-level materias.
Yes, because they have really, really high AP costs. I'm already at, like, all my basic bitch elementals are already at level 2. I can already do, like, Fire, Thundara, Blizzara, stuff like that, you know. So, yeah, that's cool. But the other thing that really... So, I don't find bosses a pain, because, like you said, the phases, that actually works out. Because that has core direction, right?
It does. The only problem is this game has this really bad habit is I'm about to lay down some fat fucking damage on it, and all of a sudden it's a cutscene. and I just lose all the momentum as I switch to another phase. Like, I have lost...
Yeah, it's a little clunky with the transitions, because it does the classic, oh no, you can't hurt him now, he's switching phases. I'm like, okay, guys, thanks, buddy. But still, I appreciate, because the phases are almost very scripted, right? They have a lot of...
Oh yeah, no, like, it adds a cinematic edge to fights, which I always appreciate in my battles.
Because it's like, okay, Airburster's doing Tank Buster. What do? Well, you get out of the fucking way. Okay, cool. You have a moment to respite, because obviously that gives you opportunity to heal and stuff in the back. Mm-hmm. Same thing. Honestly, I find mooks or mini-bosses in disguise way more troubling than actual boss or mini-boss type units, just because they're a lot more chaotic, and they tend to bunch up, and the game is very finicky about how you're supposed to deal with some units. Like, some of them hardcore require magic or the elemental materia, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, you don't get a lot of copies of, like, special materials. Like,
you don't get a lot of materia slots, period.
Yeah.
My highest is, I found the Sonic Drive, I think it's called. It's one of Tifa's gauntlets. It's clearly made for magic, because it's got, super high magic attack and stuff. It's got 4 slots. That's as high as I can go right now.
Alright, so let's see. I've beaten the game. I have 6 slots on my weapons, and my armor is between 3 and 4 slots.
Yeah, it's not... Now, on the one hand, again, means that future versions of this game, because I believe the ultimate versions of everybody's weapon went up to 8 or 9. So it gives them room to expand. That's good, because I've been thinking, especially with the way materia grows fast, even if they reset you to level 1 or whatever or something, which I kind of hope they don't do, because Cloud starts at, like, level 7.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't reset us all the way to the beginning, and hopefully there's a save port system where you can, like, copy your materia or something over. Or something, But
I think they could do it. I think
they can still do escalation, is what I'm saying, because they can be like, okay, now you can unlock higher level weapons, you can get more materia slots, we can introduce some of the different summons and stuff. That's another thing they've completely rebalanced. You don't get summon materia for forever. Like, I think the earliest you can get in-game is Chocomog, if you go to an optional area.
Yeah, you go to the Chocobo farm. I think the first one that you can find, like, per story is Ifrit on the ship.
No, Shiva's just before that. Because you get Shiva from the Dolphin minigame.
Oh, okay, because, you find Ifrit after the boss battle in the ship, if I remember right?
Yes. You punch out a Genova arm gets left behind, and you punch that one out, and then you find Ifrit where it's left. Okay. Whereas in this game, Jesse just hands you an Ifrit as a down payment, because clearly Cloud is a man whore, and Jesse's just throwing jewelry at him until they bang.
Jesse, like, talking about, like, character development, God, I fucking love what they did for Big Wedge and Jesse.
They took a lot of elements that were, again, because the game's only, like, 6 hours, and at least in the original, this is the thing I'm talking about with, like, 7 spoilers, they all die. They die in the pillar fight, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna die because they're gonna twist the knife in after making me spend 10 to 20 hours with these characters, but still.
Yeah, okay, so I just, honestly, I'm replaying it right now. I'm just beating Chapter 1. I'm seeing the scene where they blew up the bond. It literally just blew up some fucking pipes, and now Shinra's being the fuckboys, and they're like, nah, this needs some more damage.
Yeah, this isn't big enough. This isn't gonna work for our nefarious propaganda purposes.
That's all, like, Lucky is a man who sees everything in shades of gray, and I still can't understand why a fucking corporate entity would literally just tank a fucking...
Well, that's the thing that's, like, you're talking about with giving the motivation. That's why we need the Wutai angle, because this game doesn't leave Midgar, so you don't get a lot of the meta narrative about Sephiroth, Genova, the Promised Land, and stuff. Like, or maybe you do. I actually don't know. They might lean in heavier to that in the end, but even still, it's only.
Oh, they do, but, like, at the same time,
it's still only at the very end when you get to Shinra Tower.
Like, right now, it's just like, this is a corporate entity whose entire life is based around, like, having these reactors and stuff, and they just blew it up, like, for no goddamn reason. I'm just like, even beating the game, I'm like, that wasn't a very cash money move, y'all.
Well, that's kind of why Rufus takes over and does things different than his dad, because that's the thing about President Shinra, is he's very much, to make an omelet, you gotta break a few eggs kind of guy. He's just like, I'm old and made of money, and I don't like those Wutai. I'm gonna cause a race war. Wait, what? But yeah, so we were talking about characterization, so...
Yeah.
One, they do a lot of good stuff with Barrett, because it takes a while for it, but I mean, it's obviously more so, but you start to see it as early as when he, like, sees Marlene again. Like, he clearly Cloud starts to grow on him, and you start to see his softer side, because he really is just a single dad trying to make it in the world for his little girl, and but he's also he's trying to project that he's a badass terrorist leader. Foreshadowing. But yeah, so he's obviously, like, projecting hard, but he's really also a soft man inside, which is good. I will say, I think I haven't met up with Aerith again yet, but I kind of know how this goes because I'm familiar with, like, the original and stuff, and even some of the translations. It's very interesting, though, to see the way the game handles the ladies, right? Because honestly, this is Cloud returns to form. This is Cloud trying really hard to be a badass, which is kind of what he's always done, but there's been some exaggeration over the years.
Yeah.
This is still very return to form, and I've made several posts about how much of a hard-ass Cloud is on Twitter. What's my latest one? What did I say?
I'm not gonna dance.
Yes, that's right. Cloud, I don't dance, Strife. Barrett's like, it makes me happy I could dance. And then Cloud's like, I don't dance. There you go. There's a Cloud Strifeism.
I'm sorry. My immediate thought was Cloud does a dancing minigame, Strife. And
well, you told me that already. That there's going to be a rhythm game, and I'm just like, that's foreshadowing. Cloud, I don't dance. Oh boy, well, you gonna. I'm gonna make you dance later.
Oh my god, and Cloud's dance moves are fucking fabulous. I'm like, Cloud, when did you learn this?
That is also a thing. Like, Cloud, if you do certain things in the original, Cloud will bust out the fucking pirouettes and shit. But yeah, so that's Cloud really. Cloud has two settings. I'm a soldier. Ex-soldier. Or he has, how do I people? Tifa, you're a people. How do I talk to people?
And Tifa's all like, by helping them with their everyday shit. And Cloud's like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yes, you are. We're childhood friends, right? And he's like, okay, I can see your navel. It's all right.
It's like, I can see your navel, and I might have extreme crushing guilt over something.
I might have some PTSD. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit of post-traumatic stress. I may be having flashbacks to the horrible death of my mother. Right away, in the beginning of the game. The game doesn't even dance around. It's like, hey, here's Sephiroth. Hey, here's one of his, like, 50 leitmotifs.
Like, again, like, this is one of those things I'm like, I feel like they lean into the Sephiroth thing a little hard.
It's a little hard, but at the same time, it is also the situation of, like, but it's Sephiroth, right? Like, that's the thing. You can't hold that in anymore. He's out of the bag. The fact that he's actually kind of a big deal. Like, because that's the thing. In the original, you don't hear about Sephiroth until you get to President Shinra's office, and there's a fucking giant katana in his back. And Palmer is like, Sephiroth did it! And you're like, Sephiroth? Yeah, and the Kill Bill alarm plays in Cloud's head. And even then, you don't get an explanation for him until outside of Midgar, which I'm pretty sure we don't cover.
Yeah.
For the love of God, if the next version of this doesn't start with that flashback... For two reasons, Lucky. One, that is the only time Sephiroth is playable in the game. And two, the way this engine is, that means it's gonna end with Cloud fighting Sephiroth in the Mako reactor.
Also, like, honestly, I think it'd be a great tutorial section.
It would. It would be a great soft intro to be like, okay, do you remember how to play this game? It's probably been 5 years. Rip. Here's what you do. And so you don't die, here's Sephiroth. He's really, really broken. Look how cool he is. Don't you think he's cool?
If the, like I said, not to, but so you do know that Red 13 shows up here, and actually they do something kind of interesting. You don't get him as a playable character, but you get him as a guest character.
Oh, so he's only AI? That works. Yeah, that's interesting. Does he actually do shit?
He actually does shit.
Interesting. So the possibility exists. I hope they either in this game or definitely in future games they tune the ally AI a little bit.
So I'm hoping what they'll probably do is they probably have Cloud on his own, but Sephiroth would be a guest character who will utterly body shit if you're having trouble.
Yes. Because that is how Sephiroth is introduced as a guest star party member by, you're in a truck, there's a giant monster in the road, pro tip, it's a dragon. You get out of the truck, Cloud, pokes it a little bit, because he's level 1 now. And then Sephiroth just stabs it once and he's done. And he has, a Rise and Cure 3 and all the other shit.
Yeah.
So...
But...
He carries you through the tutorial, basically.
Yeah, so... I think that'd personally be a great tutorial.
That would. But I said, it has to end with the fact that because again, there's the way this game is set up. There's no way that it's just a cutscene, right? Like at some point you're gonna have that fucking fight. Because Last Order actually shows it.
So, God. Okay, so I will tell you, like, okay, so fuck. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a spoiler, Omega.
All right.
So, at the end of this game, you will fight Sephiroth.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And it's
I'm glad because I'm like, there need to be more fighting Sephiroth.
And it's right straight out of fucking Advent's Children.
Ooh.
Like you will literally like you and Sephiroth, like Cloud and Sephiroth will literally be knocking like each other between fucking buildings.
Ooh.
Like,
well, on the one hand, I'm glad because that's the other thing that's a little weird about the different game versions, right? Mm-hmm. In the original, it's entirely turn-based. The coolest you get is Cloud does Omni Slash, which looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing we don't get that. Does anybody actually get multiple limit breaks in this?
You do. Once you get to Wall Market, you can do some Coliseum fights, and winning those Coliseum fights will get you your second limit break.
Well, they've done some good stuff. So Cloud has Braver as just a special move. Cross Slash is his original limit break.
Yeah,
which is good because as iconic as Braver is, it's very simple.
Yeah, it's just big smash.
Whereas Cross Slash is like, that's his iconic thing. What does the kanji mean again? Like, you're gonna die or something, really try hard?
Yeah.
Like, don't move. I don't know. But yeah, Cross Slash is really iconic. He can do the blade beams in motorcycles anyway.
Oh, no, you actually do get that as a regular attack. It's called, because here's something I really, really do like. I like the weapon system.
Yes, the weapon system is very good. I've already found a couple of spares, so I like the fact that you can swap. Like right now, before I did the boss fight with Airbuster, I switched back to Buster Sword because it had more overall attack and about the same defense as my Iron Blade, because I'd already mastered my Iron Blade thing, because Triple Slash is fucking rad.
Yeah. Okay, so, here it is. Mithril Saber, which is the 5th sword. I think everyone gets like 6 or 7 weapons total.
That's good, because that's 6 or 7 weapon skills.
Yeah. Mithril Saber has Blade Burst, which is basically just fucking Blade Beam.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing we're not going to Meteor Rain or Omni Slash, but does that mean that my second is Climahazard?
Let me see here. No, it is, it isn't. It's called Ascension.
Oh, so they just came up with a better name, probably.
It's a multi-hit attack that ends with a Climahazard.
Cool. Interesting. Okay. But yes, also, by the way, Cloud, his second to last limit break, I think, is Cloud learns to shoot meteors out of his sword somehow. I really don't know. I literally don't know. It's gonna be fucking rad in this game. Also because it would probably be AoE. I kind of skimmed over that earlier, but that's my one... Talking about how mooks are almost more troublesome than bosses are, that's my one kind of thing, is there's not a lot of good AoE in this. Like, some spells have a little bit of burst range, but they're still very dependent on where your target is when you hit them.
Yeah.
And I believe it's like the original. You can get probably a blue that's the all material, right?
It's called Magnify.
Magnify, but it was in the original. It was all. So that turns your spells into multi-target at the cost of a shitload more MP. But
and this one doesn't cost more MP. It actually just degrades the damage. Let me see here.
Oh, it spreads it out. Well, honestly, I would probably be using it mostly to bully people with elemental weaknesses. So.
Well, I put it on fucking healing. Are you kidding?
Oh boy, actually, that's a way better idea. Yes, true. That's the other thing, right? Is your heals are all single target, which gets a little frustrating. But yeah, so I feel like that's something they need to work on a little bit.
Of Magnify.
That's like in future games, that's something they need to tune up a little, right? Is to work on a little bit more zone control.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, the thing that bugs me about thing is like once you get the big spells, they do get AoE. But the problem is even if they're AoE, because there's a casting delay. First, you have to cast a spell, and you have to stand stock still. And if you get sneezed on, you'll stagger. Mm-hmm. You'll lose your AP. You'll lose your MP, and you'll just be caught holding nothing. That's my big gripe,
the game's defenses are a little shift.
But
right?
when you throw the spell, it will reach the target, then stop. The target won't be staggered, and they'll just continue doing whatever they do. And if they move out of the way of the AoE effect, which it does have some, it's not fucking huge, but it does have some. They will just fucking it'll just completely miss them. And, you're just
and
like,
it
what?
depends on the spell too. Like,
Yeah.
Thunder drops down in from above pretty fast. It's a fairly
Mhm.
reliable spell. Blizzard
And
is
those are
pretty
fucking-
bullshit because
Yeah,
it
those are
shoots out an
fucking
ice cube that, like you said, pauses for a second, then explodes, and that's where the real damage is.
Mhm.
So you kind of got to catch an enemy when their pants are down, basically. You know, I haven't tried Bio yet, but Wind is kind of a similar thing where it shoots out a little tornado that swirls up to people.
Mhm.
Again, I appreciate the slight difference, you know, the kind of diversifying the mechanics, but the system is still a little bit trying too hard to be familiar to Final Fantasy VII.
Mhm.
Like, if this was straight up just the Kingdom Hearts engine, right? It would arguably be better, because you'd be a lot more mobile.
Yeah, like, I don't like the fact that I can't cast magic, because here's another one of my complaints is the aerial fighting is absolute bullshit if you're not Barret.
Yes. Now, everybody has crazy high ups. Like, Cloud can jump, like, 3 people high to smack somebody, but you get, like, 2 hits in your combo, and then you gotta drop back down. And you can't do other shit.
You can't do abilities,
And
you can't
Barret
do
is
spells.
literally the only ranged character in this version.
No, Aerith's range too, but
Oh, she
she's
does?
ranged-
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, her attacks are, she waves her staff and she does a
Oh,
little
do they
magic
give her magic? Like, default magic attacks or whatever?
Yeah,
That's
no, her
interesting.
basic attack is basically a magic, she basically casts magic missile.
That's pretty cool. That also makes me a little bit sad, though, because it's no longer her just beating the shit out of people with a pipe.
Yeah, no, basically if I was to put in everyone's role, Cloud and Tifa are basically all-rounders. Barrett's a ranged tank, and Aerith is just a fucking caster.
Right. Because you've told me that she always fucking dies. Because aggro is not great.
No.
Which is kind of a shame. There was a materia for this in the game. In the original. I think it was a purple.
Oh no, there's Provoke in this game, which I put on Barret because he's the fucking tank.
Well, yeah, obviously. Barret literally has a tanking ability.
Mm-hmm. But
which I just found recently, and I abused the shit out of a tank buster, and I'm just like, oh, Barret, why are you dying? Oh my god, are you still taking damage for me? You are. Holy shit, dude.
But
Here, have a potion.
Provoke.
You're doing great. Keep up the work.
Because here's something that I think they did with interesting materia is they have materias that only proc when you're not controlling the character.
Yes.
Which is the case with Auto Cure and Provoke. Barret, where are you?
Yeah, so
here.
Provoke, I'm presuming, is it draws aggro when you're not controlling that character, because otherwise aggro is drawn to the controlling character.
Yeah, and then
which is a
automatically
little
use the
shifty.
Provoke to temporarily draw the enemy's attention when teammates are severely injured. Ineffective against powerful enemies, will not activate if the player is controlling the character.
And
then
Auto
it
Cure is the
has-
same. It gives you, at max level, which is pretty easy to get, it gives you 10 free, well, not free, I think they still take an ATB bar, but
Yeah.
10 automatic cures per match from an ally.
Mhm.
Which I have Tifa holding right now. Because again, like you said, depending on their weapon selection, which again, the weapon system is great.
Mhm.
The weapon system is where you get your future Final Fantasy game style growth. Because
Yeah.
the thing about 7 was that it was still fairly traditional Final Fantasy, where even though all the characters were unique and they don't have like classes, because that's what you do with materia.
Mhm.
They do definitely have specific builds. Cloud is Cloud. He only gets his limit breaks. He has his stats, his weapons, which have different effects, etc. It was only in later games where you got like, and here's your upgrade grid or tree or board.
Yeah.
And the weapon system is like that. It's also all space themed because Final Fantasy VII. But depending on her weapons and stuff, Tifa can be more magic or defense or offense focused. Same with Cloud. Barret is ranged because there's no Vincent. It's good that they made Aerith ranged because actually this is a good question. This will not be a spoiler, I don't think. But how do they handle the thing in the elevator fight?
Differently. There is still the fucking boss, but you don't, Barret and Aerith don't fight it, on the elevators. You basically, you go down the elevators, it shoots you out of the elevators, and you fight it in a giant lobby.
That's probably better because, let me tell you, those elevators are way smaller in cutscenes than they are in that battle arena.
Oh, no, trust me, it's still a really good, it was actually a really good fight.
I bet it is. So that's good that they changed it because in the original, Lucky and I are referring to a boss fight that when you're leaving Shinra Tower, Cloud stays behind to punch Rufus, which I can't wait to do because that's going to be pretty cool.
I'm telling you right now, for Rufus, he'll counter any basic attack, so you gotta only hit him on his reloads. It'll just save you some fucking time.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I probably would have picked that up really quick, but yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Prick.
He is a prick.
With a gun. But while Cloud stays behind to do that, and Tifa stays back to make sure Cloud is okay. Not to help him out in his fight, but just to make sure he gets down okay. Barrett, Red, and Aerith go down an elevator, and there's a giant fucking robot which goes down the other elevator and fights you. Only, guess what? Only Barrett can do basic attacks because it's in the other elevator. So, you're basically stuck letting Red... Hope you put magic on Red, or you're just waiting for his limit break to proc, because that'll work. While Aerith heals, probably, and punches. Nothing.
Yeah, as I said, like, Aerith is very firmly in the caster slot, but, like, her attacks are kind of slow, and I said they only do, like... It feels more like chip damage at times, but oh boy, does her abilities do some stuff. Fucking Arcane Ward. Here, just stand on this, like, pretty flower and just double cast.
That was the thing about Aerith, right? All her limit breaks were support, which were really good.
Oh man, Healing Wind has saved my ass.
Her final one, Great Gospel. What is that like? I think it's like big heals, regen, gets your MP. Like it does all the shit. Debuffs, get rid of your debuffs. It's.
I will admit my Phil Cashes. I've never actually had Aerith use her final limit break.
It's optional though. That's the beauty of this game. Is it probably won't be like they will give it to her and they will make her use it and then you'll be sad.
Again, I don't know if that's going direction because again,
that would be really interesting if they changed that twist, right?
Yeah, because like here's the thing, like I don't know, but if you know, like I don't know, shit, I don't remember when you start seeing this, but you'll start getting the impression that Aerith knows some shits.
That was always implied in the original that Aerith knew a lot more than she was letting on.
Yeah,
which is why she does the thing right, where she comes to the final conclusion that like, okay, I got to go to the temple. No, I have to go to the city of the ancients. Cloud, you need to stay here and chill because there's something going on there with you, buddy.
Mm-hmm. And I get the impression that this time, like, I don't know if she's like aware, like, it's like well, there's also a lot of they also lead whole hog on the Aerith is a special child thing, like right away. They actually in a great sequence, by the way. I basically love whenever the game is like, "Hey, Cloud, you're a cool dude. Just go do cool things and murder a lot of people." Mm-hmm. Those sequences so far in the game are amazing. Where Cloud just gets to kick the shit out of soldiers, and then there's one guy is like, "Hey, do I recognize your face?" And I'm just like, "Ooh." But you run into Aerith in the traditional spot where she's selling flowers, only in this case she forces a flower upon you because she's sassy like that. She's a sassy lost child. I'm still in English. I'm going to check out the Japanese for this chapter now that I'm going to meet Aerith again, just to see what it's like. Because you talked about this, Aerith in Japanese is Maya Sakamoto, and doing one of her cheekier voices. Yep.
Which, by the way, that's another great thing to think about, because I've watched a little bit of Team 4 Star's Machinima Abridged, just because it's fun, and also because, boy howdy, it's really interesting to see. I'm 10 hours into this game, and they blew past me in like 3 episodes, right? Because they're abridging the whole story. But it's very interesting to see kind of the Tifa as a violent maniac thing, which is complete opposite of her characterization, but also thinking about how she gets kind of exaggerated. Tifa in Remake is, and this is how she kind of was in the original too, is she is the team mom, she's the supportive one, you know.
She is One-san.
She's looking out for everybody. She's especially looking out for Cloud because she's pretty sure there's something going on here, but she really doesn't want to pressure him because, you know, they're childhood friends and stuff. And also she's honestly not sure of herself. There's a lot of Tifa's early character development is building to the idea that she needs to punch Shinra more. Because she's not sure about punching the Shinra. But then the Shinra pisses her off, and she's decided she will punch for great justice. Or possibly somersault. And many, many other... I wonder if they've kept the name Dolphin Blow.
Yes.
That's good.
Actually, I haven't used it yet, because I keep using somersault because I haven't switched.
Somersault's pretty good. I gotta be honest. If it's gonna be kind of weird because for the thing that was cool about Tifa's limit breaks is you had her slot system where you could stack them all together. So if you had all the limit breaks, the way Tifa works is you spin the slots and you could literally do her 7 super move combo back to back.
Well, they kind of do that with her. What the
With
fuck
her
is
special
it?
ability, yeah.
Where Unbridled Strength, you stack it a couple times and you can start doing more and more moves. I think, but I've only can only do like Rise and Fall to Omni Strike to Rising Uppercut.
Yeah. But still,
So
she's very combo based. Though her basic
Yeah.
attacks feel like that too. At least.
Yeah,
That's
well, and her special abilities can actually chain pretty well. It's like certain ones chain them.
yeah, what is the... I think the Metal Gloves had Focused Blow, and then... Because that puts her right up on the enemy and, like, does jump, and then you get into Dive Kick. You can also Uppercut Triangle into Dive Kick.
Yeah.
Because I believe you can initiate a Dive Kick at least in midair.
That's why I like putting Refocus on Tifa, because when you pop that, you Refocus is a materia. Basically, it's good for long attacks because if you hit the limit breaks, it actually gives you a third ATP bar, so you can do. But as I said, you have to use the limit break for it. I'm just like, you have to give her abilities that quickly increase the limit breaks. There's some like mad lad fucking builds I'm pretty sure going around here somewhere, but
yeah, so we've said that the materias are a little limited, but it definitely seems like they've kept a lot of the diversity of materia and all the different types, which I don't think the game has actually explained. But the way it works is that green is magic, red is summons, purple is passives, so that's just stuff you do. Yellow is abilities, which are not magical, like chakra and like assess,
Pray,
which I am spamming because I know. And eventually, I'm assuming that's enemy skill was a yellow before. That'll be fun. I wonder how fucking weird enemy skill is on this one, because
apparently
it was pretty. It was a pretty bullshit one. If you fought the right bosses or mini bosses, you could get some pretty BS moves.
It makes me mad because, like, actually, once you beat the game, you get a play log that tells you everything that you got. Apparently, there's an enemy skills. And I've gotten 3 out of 4, and I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
There's only 4? Now,
but also I've got 3 out of 4?
Yeah. So I don't know where this last one is, but hang on. But let's see. You get one called, like, wait, actually, where can I actually... Oh, it's probably in battle settings. Here we go. No, not battle settings.
Well, I remember
spells?
the Cerulean Drake in chapter, like, 3 or whatever was like, ooh, you might learn an enemy skill from this. Well, I'm like, I don't have that one yet.
It's a frigid aura. It basically gives Cloud an ice, or whoever has it, an ice aura that, you just get close to people and they do damage. Where is... here we go. Toggle page. Oh yeah, here we go. So the 3 that I have is Self-Destruct, Spirit Siphon, which is drain HPs from surrounding enemies, and then Algid Aura, imbue a magical aura that deals ice damage on contact. Those are the 3 I have. There's another one somewhere else.
So no Dragon Breath and no Trine yet.
Yeah.
Because there were like 20 in the original. But also that was all 3 discs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can get... If you can survive, you can learn Beta from Midgar Zalam. Which is just a big
snake.
Big snake, but it's a nuclear snake. He shoots nukes at you.
So Lucky right now is in the escape from the reactor segment, which again I think also really illustrates the fact that these are people just living their lives and you just kind of royally fuck them.
Yeah, again, it's really good. Okay, so you can learn. So here's the list of original enemy skills. You can learn Frog Song, level 4 Suicide, which is like Self-Destruct, Magic Hammer, which depletes MP, White Wind, which was one of the cure-all moves, which is pretty cool, Big Guard, Angel Whisper, Dragon Force, Death Force, Flamethrower, Laser. Don't ask me how you learn to shoot a laser. Mantra Magic, Bad Breath, so you can learn Bad Breath from Malboros, Beta from Midgar Zalam. You can learn Aqualung, which was water damage to everybody. Trine, Magic Breath, which was a big deal because that was fire, ice, and lightning damage. You can learn the question mark move, literally. Goblin Punch, Shaco Buckle, level 5 Death Sentence, Roulette, a lot of death moves in here. Shadow Flare.
Ooh, Shadow Flare.
Yeah, that was a big one, which you can only learn from a couple of enemies. And Pandora's Box. A lot of really bullshit shit in there.
I'm hoping, again, that when we do beat this, there will be a port data, and you can just, they'll maybe expand the second one to have, maybe,
just keep your learned enemy skills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't fuck us over too much with the shift. But yeah, so, Cloud is his old tryhard self. Tifa really is the heart and soul of the team. Which a lot of people... I don't know if a lot of people remember that about her. They probably remember that she punches stuff a lot.
No, she was always like it wasn't. I don't think it was quite as prolific in the original, but she was always the one who's taking care of other people.
Yes. The other thing is that a lot of people forget this about Aerith, think because of reasons, of emotional, cognitive reasons.
Oof.
But a lot of people, I think, tend to characterize her as a beautiful and perfect child, which is she is not. She is a sassy, lost child, as evidenced by when you run into her in the middle of a terrorist bombing, and she's just out here like,
"You need flowers, yo," and
you're just like, wah, 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 wah. Like she's first of all, we talked about this. They lean real hard on that she's a special child because she's being attacked by ghosts. But when you're like, "Hey, are you okay?" and you have a slight PTSD flashback as Cloud, she's like, "Oh, they left. Here, have a flower. It's a flower of love." And you're like, "Okay." And she's just like, "Okay, bye." Oh no, I'm being attacked by ghosts by again. But I think it's especially more so in the Japanese. She really is quite sassy.
Yeah. Like I just said, like, I'm playing in English right now, but I played the first through, I'm playing in Japanese, and Maya Sakamoto just brings small Da Vinci energy all through Aerith's line. I'm like, this is amazing.
Cause, yeah, I'm thinking to remember. So there's a very, very interesting scene in the original with, good old Don Corneo, where 3 people line up, and Cloud says, "I'll chop them." I think Tifa's is like, "I'll rip them off." Aerith says she's gonna smash them with her giant stick, probably. Like, she's not a soft child. But yeah, it'll be really interesting because I'm about to run into her if I play later and don't pass out. So we've kind of talked about this overall, about the design stuff, and the narrative and things. We've aired, I think, a little bit of our grievances about the gameplay. I do think they need to tighten a few things up, but obviously that is the beauty of it kind of being in parts, is even if they're going to charge me, $60 or whatever every 40 hours, which is still a fairly robust experience. They have room to adjust things, either one through patching or through, like, actually just, the next game will improve AI, because that is kind of the beauty of not doing all your work at once, is you can actually, like, look at what people liked about the last thing and improve. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Devil is as I said, the target to player AI is really bad, but this is what I've come to accept. If you just stay on one player constantly, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So the game wants you to constantly be rotating through your characters.
The game doesn't really discuss it, but we've talked about this before with, like, Sekiro and stuff. There are games that want you to play them a certain way. Some of them are more subtle about it than others. Final Fantasy VII, I think, is a little subtle about, like, they really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into making this whole party system work and how everybody be cool in an action RPG sense. I think this is one of the few action RPGs I've played which is like that, where it's, you have a party and you seamlessly transition from them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember seeing that a lot. So the game really wants you to use that system. Where, to the point of where it almost kind of punishes you a little if you just suck it up and stick on Barrett or Cloud or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, a technical question, no spoilers. Is the party cap max 3 or 4?
3.
Okay. So the game does the same thing it does in the original, where it's like, oh no, you have all the party members together. Let us send half of them away to do something else.
Oh yeah, no. As I said, they really expand Shinra building. Like Hojo's lab gets
kind of good, because on the one hand, it's like 60 stories tall, but also you blow through a lot of that shit.
So they do a thing, like, in one section where the party actually gets split as they're making their way up. No, Cloud, like, actually, honestly, Cloud is my, actually my main damage dealer, like, putting him in his punch.
In the long-range bosses.
Oh, yeah, well, that's why I usually have Cloud with, like, lightning or wind, because, trust me, if it's a ranged or flying enemy, it's usually weak to wind or lightning.
It's either I've noticed some themes. If it's a robot, it's weak to lightning. If it's a dude, it's weak to fire. If it's like a flying enemy, like a Drake or something, those are usually wind weak. And then it seems like mutants are usually fire or ice weak. Yeah. Or sometimes bio.
Yeah. But basically we're talking about, like, Shinra, I gotta expand it. And basically at one point as you're making your way up, your party just gets split in 2. And you would literally have to do a swap the party puzzle where 2 people go off, like, hit a button so the other 2 can progress, and you just go back and forth doing that.
I will say, it's not the the worst puzzle I've done, but the lever slide puzzle in Reactor 5 got a little frustrating. Just because the timing, it's like there's no feedback. It's like Tifa just says something in character that's unhelpful, and I'm like, okay, they're both my thumbs. I'm not sure how one thumb went at a different time than the other thumb. I could use some.
It might have been. It also might have been the time with Tifa, because I think that one didn't take me too long, but it did definitely take me a minute. Of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very touchy-feely puzzle, and I'm kind of like, I feel like after a certain point, you should just stop insulting me and punishing me for being bad at it, and you should actually offer some helpful feedback. Like, just, if you miss it a couple times, Barrett rambles and you can't skip it, but most of the time it's just like, Tifa's just like, okay, just try that again. Breathe when I breathe, and I'm like, you're not actually breathing, you're fake, you're a pixel. Your fucking electrons in my screen. I wasn't actually that salty, but I was a little bit about that, because it's like, just because I feel like that was, you could have made that a little more friendly to the user friendly, you know?
I don't know, maybe it was like different in English, but in I don't know how I'll see when I get there, but in Japanese, when she does the she goes sen no, and then I like in that beat I go like 1, 2, 3. And that's how I was able to do it, but I actually gotta see how they do it in Japanese to see if they kind of have the same on-beat kind of thing. Because that's the thing, like, you're supposed to basically go off the rhythm of what Tifa says at the time to do it, and I'm just like, I don't know if it's actually different in English.
Yeah, I don't know. The rhythm was kind of, the best way I learned to be closest was to watch what her hands do.
Yeah.
So, like, when she says go, you start moving, and then you kind of follow the pace, because if you do it too fast, it's too fast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of, like, tried to gently follow what she was doing. But again, I was just like, again, like, at least in English, the translation of her feedback was mostly unhelpful. Like, occasionally she would say, don't rush, and I'm like, okay, keep it slow. But other than that, it just felt like, man, you're not really... Basically, the game wasn't teaching me anything when I failed, which is always a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did it over and over again until it clicked, and I gotta be honest, in my memory, I don't think I did anything differently those times, but I guess I did, so I got my bullshit. We'll see if it's worth anything later, because I haven't been able to capitalize on it. By the way, what did you do for Airburster? I started with one of everything, and then I was like, but I don't like these big bombs.
I actually went with an equal spread of everything, because I wasn't sure what to do.
Yeah, I went one in each, and then it was like, okay, you can do some extras, and I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of those bombs. And honestly, I think it worked out. Like, the big bomb attack wasn't that bad, with like 2, I think, out.
Yeah, but I also like this. Right, you can customize your boss battle. Shit.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, if you were good with the AoE attacks or whatever, you could totally leave the big bombs and just be like, let's just take out his processors. You know, and make his basic attacks slower, the beams, because they can't stun you. Or you could be like, nah, I'm good, I'm greedy, give me all the items.
Yeah.
Which were like Phoenix Downs and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which I use a lot because I don't have a free slot for Revive Materia right now. Not that I don't pass out too much, but I do a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the hard level play. Shit.
Yes, we have heard that hard mode is hard. For one thing, benches. By the way, great addition to the great way to handle it, because in the original it was a save point system.
Mm-hmm.
And you could use certain items called tents only at save points, which were full HP MP revive. But in the remake, you have the benches with vending machines. So if you see a bench, you can sit on it to fully restore your HP and MP at certain points. Which at first I was like, oh, I don't know if that's a big deal. But as I've gotten later in the game, I'm like, oh, give me a bench. Please let there be a bench around this corner. Otherwise, I'm going to have to eat like 5 more potions.
Something I do wish they had on it is that you didn't have to use your items in the menu if you weren't in combat. God, when I had to spend like 10 potions to get Cloud back up to full, I'm just like...
Yeah, you have to just keep... I mean, you don't have to... At least there's no delay for ATB, but yes, you have to manually be like, okay, I want to use 2 potions, so that's potion, animation. Okay, he's done, I can do another potion. Again, that's not how the original worked, because you could do that shit in menu, and it was just be your bar fills up. And some of that, I think, is just there, because like we said, it's a remake. There is a little bit of what would we call it? A little bit of like almost directional conflict, where
Mm-hmm.
on the one hand they're doing something new and fresh and making it an actual action RPG, but at the same time they don't want to make it too different from the original. So sometimes those kind of directions conflict, and you get a little bit of disconnect. It's not a huge deal. It's just enough to be like, man, this game is almost perfect. But even then, it's still fun. The reason why I say it's almost perfect is because we've alluded to it, but now that we're an hour and 15 minutes in, let's talk about how this game is just a work of art.
Oh,
Like,
man, it's
I
so
don't give
beautiful.
I honestly almost don't give a fuck about the narrative or the combat, though. The combat is really good, and I'm interested to see what they're doing with a lot of story stuff. But just existing in Midgar in this game it's a work of art. I think I mentioned this another time about how there's a phrase with movies, every frame a painting.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about this game. Like, every moment of it is just beautiful. Like, there's way more detail to the inside of the Mako reactors when you're walking around in Sector 8 in the beginning with the disaster area, right? It's really interesting. Especially when the Shinra guys completely blew the fuck up out of that fountain. Good job, guys. I didn't do that. You did that. I think it was a
They're
grenade
gonna blame
guy.
me anyway.
The going down to the slums is a whole thing, which they expanded dramatically. Like, you've got a fucking apartment now, which I think is an interesting choice. Because in the original, I think it's the attic, but you just crash in Seventh Heaven. There's like 3 beds. I don't know why they decided to change that.
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. When I had those, like, do I get to decorate my apartment? No, you do not get to decorate your apartment.
Also, again, Tifa invites you into her apartment, and she's like, I haven't had time to decorate, and she's got, like, handbags and a poster and candles and shit, and I'm just going to be like, no, Tifa, I don't have any decorations. Have you seen my apartment? It's a bathroom, a sink, a bed, a table with some junk on it, a mirror, and just a spot on the floor where I prop my giant fucking sword. I don't even have a rack for it. I just throw it on the wall.
Well, you need it within easy reach, so
so you can jump out of bed when your PTSD happens. But Cloud also, I'm just thinking about that. Man, Cloud has a real problem explaining stuff to people, because when Tifa is like, hey, why are you beating up this clearly ill man? Like, I feel like Cloud should say, like, whoa, he jumped out at me. It's fine. It was just some
You came right for me.
He was coming right for me. But on the other hand, Tifa also lets it go remarkably fast that her childhood friend may be prone to violent outbursts. Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe they had some, like, deep-seated childhood trauma. Well, I don't want to say childhood, but recent trauma in their lives. Who knows?
But yeah, so the other than the fact that my vanilla PS4 occasionally is a little slow with the textures, I've noticed the apartment doors get a little blurry sometimes. There's a little bit of texture pop, but other than that, everything is just so wonderfully rendered. They do a great job because it is free cam, but they do a great job of manipulating the camera so you can recreate some of those iconic shots that we talked about.
I wish I could pull up my PS4 screenshots easily so I can just...
Yeah,
Actually,
you'd have to, like, tweet them or something. It's not really easy to do shares off the machine.
Actually,
I guess you could, like, plug an external drive in and move them?
I guess I could tweet them. Hang on, let me...
Yes, also that's another thing that this has, because it's actual cutscenes, not just dialogue and motion, is you get stuff like Devilish mentioned, where Cloud goes to draw his giant sword in a room and it bonks on the door. Bonk.
He's like, what?
It's just like, oh shit. And I'm just like, I laughed out loud because I can't believe they introduced the realism of Cloud has a giant sword. But they did, and it works though.
Oh no, the thing I love is that they fucking they add like weird touches, little places like, oh man, I'm bringing it up right now, but there's a sign where there's a scene where you're just walking in front of giant ass fucking searchlights, and if you turn your character to look directly at them, they'll put up their hand to shield it,
just like they do when you walk by the giant fans. Where
yeah.
the game forces you to walk. I've always thought, is Cloud just going to walk by these fans like a Billy Badass? No, they make you hold the railing, but still, it's very dynamic, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of those dynamic shots in there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, you don't feel like you're not as impressive out of cutscenes as you are in cutscenes, because Cloud is a strong boy.
Mm-hmm.
Wielding that giant sword one-handed, jumping like 6 feet in the air or whatever, or more.
I want to share this, but like it's probably not spoilers. But hang on, I'm just gonna...
again. There is the question we talked about where it's like, okay, so there's remake spoilers, and then there's just Final Fantasy VII spoilers, which we can't really avoid at this stage of our lives.
Yeah.
Um,
Fuck it, I'm just gonna share it. But like this, like just the way they sometimes pause in everything they're doing just to give you like this fucking scene, just makes me go, oh man.
yeah, they really play up the visuals. Also, I love the fucking framing in this shot you've tweeted.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm doing. Let's see here. Like, there's one more I have. Oh, here's another one. Because no, literally, I see these shots. I'm like, I like picture now.
Yeah, there's a good one. Avalanche.
I have one
also,
more.
Also, love the lighting. The light is great in this game.
I swear I had one. Oh, here it is.
But they also, the other thing is, apart from the visuals, is also, oh my god, this soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not satisfied with 12 songs, Lucky. I'm referring, by the way, to our deluxe editions came with a mini soundtrack, which is very mini. That said, it also still comes with some bangers. It's got the Scorpion version of the boss theme, it's got Prelude, Tifa's theme, Shinra theme, On Our Way, the Turk theme, the fighting theme of the battles begin, Flowers Blooming in the Church, Hurry, the main theme, Lay Down Some Rubber, which is the first motorcycle song, and then Stand Up, which is, I'm assuming because it mentions the Honeybee Inn, is going to come in at the Honeybee Inn moment.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to retweet Quid Study Robots. How dare you, sir? But, okay, now that I've got these, let me just post them to Patreon so they can see what the fuck I'm talking about here. Lucky's just taking, like, these are in-game screenshots that I just fucking grabbed.
Yeah, like I said, every frame is a painting. It is just a wonderful, collection of all the art and motion. Everybody is animated really well. They're very expressive. Lucky, you're only just now playing it in English, right?
Yeah.
Just because you wanted to check out the Japanese voices, because I've been playing it in English so far. The voice cast is excellent. Everybody is killing it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think they did a good job with the selection. Like Tifa has that kind of older sister vibe, right?
Mm-hmm. Like
she projects that concern. Barrett's voice actor is phenomenal. He does a great job of portraying this, because you talk about this. There's a lot of depth to Barrett. There's a lot of different emotions there.
Mm-hmm.
Of his shit. I need to be the man in charge here, but also I have concerns. Mainly, they involve falling to my death. No fear, no fear, no fear, little fear. Again, Barrett is a goofball inside. He fucking busts out the victory theme occasionally, and he's the one talking about victory poses. Oh shit! Actually, God, I hope they do Cloud's iconic victory pose at least once.
In Coliseum battles, you will.
Thank God, because that would be a shame to miss Cloud twirling his giant sword.
Yeah, no. Everyone does their iconic victory pose in Coliseum battles.
Well, here's the thing about Final Fantasy VII. It was always a shipping clusterfuck.
Yeah, it was.
I'm very curious how they're going to handle the dating system, Lucky, in the future. Because there's no way they've been keeping a secret track, right?
Who knows?
Well, I suppose if they do have save porting, they could keep track, but you don't have a lot of dialogue choices, though, either. But basically, I'm referring to in the original, I should explain.
There's certain things, choices, but, oh shit, you haven't got to the point. There is, a point when you get knocked down first into a sewers, fucking both Aerith and Tifa are lying on the ground, and you can go and talk to one of them.
Oh, interesting.
And then one of them, hey, are you okay? You pull them up, and then the other one just gets up, so I'm just like,
That's probably definitely a reference to that in the original. But basically, we should explain that in case you're not familiar, or you forgot. Because some people probably, because the game is really weighted to give you the Aerith date almost for plot reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But there's actually 4 of those. There's secret scores for Tifa, Aerith, Yuffie, and Barrett. That's right, there is a Gold Saucer Barrett date. I'm pretty sure it's awkward in the original in both languages. But yeah, so in the original game, it keeps track of your dialogue choices for I don't know, 50 or 60 hours, whatever. For the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that depends on what you get. It's very, very hard to get Barrett or Yuffie. Especially because you need to find Yuffie immediately. Otherwise, you're just gonna miss your chance. And Aerith gets 50 free points or something. But I'm very curious to see in future installments, again, because will it be... Because I know there is variation. I've been warned that you cannot...
hang on.
Robin is referencing Dolphin Blow. because you've already told me, because I talked about the trophies, that you're going to need multiple runs to get all the bridal candidate outfits.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's not called Dolphin Blow, it's called Dolphin Flurry now.
Well, it's not as punny, but still, Dolphin Blow. Tifa's got some stuff. The Beat Rush, Assault Dive, the Somersault, the Dolphin Blow. What's her ultimate called again?
I think it's just called Seventh Heaven.
Is it? Yeah, that's right. It's Seventh Heaven. Her final weapon is something heart, because it has hearts on it. Premium Heart. That's right. Premium Heart is her signature weapon. Cloud's final weapon is the Ultima weapon. Very curious what we're going to do with that one.
Well, that's all the what. Again, as I said, they're definitely going for something different. I don't know how different. I don't know how to feel. It's a game what you do.
Also, Yuffie. I talked about that. There's four choices. It's just hard to get anybody to Aerith. I've played the game a few times. I think I've only gotten Tifa like once. But yeah, like I said, that's going to be an interesting thing to see if they do that. Is that going to be like that'll probably be a whole chapter in a future installment, and you'll make a choice somewhere, and you'll probably have to replay it to get all the trophies. Thanks, game. But also replayability.
Well, as I said, the game makes it pretty simple, like with a cloud trigger, you can do like certain bits easily, but for like Tifa's dress, you have to actually start from like, I think the chapter I'm in now, to go all the way over to make it count.
Because you make the choice in 3.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit of a Hail Mary, guys. So, by the way, Robin asked, why, no, because Yuffie doesn't actually take your materia until Wutai, guys, which is way, way later.
Yeah.
Like, you bump into her into the woods, just after Calm, but then you bop her in the face, and you recruit her.
You play hard to get, and she's like, I'm coming with you. If you do anything else, she'll just steal some money and run the fuck away.
Yeah, she takes your money, is the thing. Her stealing your materia is an infamous thing from later.
Yeah.
Anyway, Robin was talking about why would I want to date the girl who takes all your stuff?
Well, as I said, if you know
first of all, most people don't.
Yeah.
Yuffie is not popular because, well, first of all, she's only like 16 or 17.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a big deal because Cloud's like 20, 19, 21, 22. He can't be that young because it was that day 5 years ago. But also, he can't be super old. Though I love that fucking line of dialogue. Where Barrett's like, what are you, like 20-something? First class. What? My rank. Soldier doesn't go to 20. And then Barrett turns it into a joke, and Cloud's just, whatever. Fuck you.
Fuck you, pay me.
I need a raise. Cloud, I want to raise Strife. Yuffie's popularity has gone up and down over the years, but at the time that segment is super unpopular, and generally why people are a bit concernicus about her. However, the reverse of that is that yes, she is. The thing is that yeah, she's a hot pants ninja with a giant gauntlet. I wonder. Everybody else has had a really good glow up in this game. I'm very curious what they will do with that. Vincent's also going to be an interesting one. One, he'll be ranged like Barrett.
I think he's going to be I think he's going to play with basically revolver. He's going to be like boom, 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 then has to reload.
Yeah, he'll probably be big hits. We'll have to see what they do for his iconic weapons. Because the Cerberus is his iconic gun. That'll probably be his core. That's the three-barreled revolver.
Mm-hmm.
So bop bop bop. And then he stops. And then his limits. He only had 4 limits in the game anyway.
Yeah,
that was the weird thing about him because they were transformations. Careful now. It wasn't that bad. People are overly mad about it, but it wasn't that bad. They tried. There's a lot of. I hope there's a lot of Reeve in this game because there's a lot of Reeve in Dirge.
Reeve definitely makes it, and you understand that like, he's the man who's trying to be like, oh no, what the fuck is the company doing?
Well, they have to sell you on the fact that he's going to be. Here's another, by the way, future spoiler, even though it's super fucking obvious in the game. Reeve is directing Kate Sith. So
you actually do get to see Kate Sith in one scene.
Well, that's good. They gotta, because that's the other thing. Kate Sith doesn't join your party until Gold Saucer. Like it's a big one. You know, he's not optional, but there's like it. Depending on how far the next game goes, which like I think we've said, we hope it gets to like past Nibelheim at least.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, as far as Temple of the Ancients, maybe. There's 4 whole more party members in that block. There's Yuffie, Vincent, Cid, and Kate Sith. And that's it. That's everybody. Thank God. Hopefully, unless they bamboozle us some more, they add new party members.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You look at your job.
Actually, right. You told me that Red 13's not actually playable yet.
No.
Presumably, he will be promoted to playable later, too. So technically, that's 5 new party members in full.
Barrett's doing the overprotective dad. Tifa, in front of everyone, says, why don't you go take care of Marlene? So Cloud looks at Marlene. Marlene gets scared, and fucking Barrett is about to fucking end your life. Like,
Barrett's a very protective father. There may be some baggage in there, which, wow. Again, that's something we don't get to until Gold Saucer.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I think, one of the kind of the flaw of the. Again, we talked about how the game is so spaced out. That's kind of the flaw of the original. In that, man, you go a long, long ways between character development. Like after the flashback in Calm, I don't think you really get into Tifa's story arc until you get to Nibelheim again.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's what we mean by like there's just a bunch of kind of faffing about.
Right. Like Barrett's Red 13 doesn't get any character development until you go to Cosmo Canyon. And then that's basically his whole character arc takes place in Cosmo Canyon. That's gonna break my fucking heart, though. They're gonna play that music, and they're gonna do it in a remix, and you're gonna be sad. You're gonna cry like that stone statue does, like a big baby. Because again, I've mentioned it. The music remixes in this are great. They do really good stuff. Like I love they brought back the fucking guitars for the Airburster version of the boss theme, and you're just like, yes. But Aerith's theme plays for a brief snippet when you meet her, and you just start the piano comes in, and you're just like, no, that's dangerous. My heart. They play the main map theme when you're in Sector 7 slums, which is great, because otherwise you literally wouldn't hear that music. They've done a lot of really good things with the soundtrack, both original pieces and, like you said, they just mix shit in. When you're climbing the reactor, they have an like a calm version of the main battle theme that turns into the regular theme when you beat up guys. It's great. Mm-hmm. So diverse. Is this full soundtrack out yet? Can I obtain it?
Let me see.
I need it because if it is, I need to find it. This is beautiful. But yes, there's a lot of good music to come. Because I don't think we'll get. They might do a rendition of Chasing the Man in Black.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ!
What's up?
Okay, so. Oh god, it's on a wait. You need to get on a waiting. Let me see here. Release date will be May 27th, 2020. It is a 7-disc CD set.
Oh well,
it is 77.77.
Okay. That said, however, I was gonna look up Final Fantasy VII OST track list because I want to see how many tracks are in the actual. The original, because it's long. So there were in the OST of the original 7 was 4 discs, and it's hold on, I gotta do math now because there's not just a list of how many they all are. But let's see, there's that. There's a lot of music in the original, is the thing, too. So there's that. There's disc 3 begins with Cosmo Canyon. That's good. 23. So across 4 discs, the original has 85 songs. Yeah, and so there's a lot. There's a lot of songs.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just the songs they have playing in like their OST. They just have remixes of old songs in different styles, like fucking.
Yeah, they have a music collectible system.
Of the rap version of fucking the Chocobo theme. You're just
hip-hop to Chocobo, yeah.
And you're just like...
Well, I mean, that continues the theme. There's 3 variations of the Chocobo already. There's Waltz to Chocobo, Electro to Chocobo, and Cinco to Chocobo.
Mm-hmm.
In the original. I gotta listen to all of these because I forget the names sometimes. Like, I had to struggle to find... What was the name of... Because I've mentioned this before. Sephiroth has, like, 5 leitmotifs. It's a little ridiculous. Because there's... I personally associate Trail of Blood with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which they played hints of already, and I presume we'll bring back when that section happens. Thank you very much, game. They also did... Those Chosen by the Planet. That's the big one in his flashback, but that's the one that plays when he appears before you in the very beginning of the game. You know, with the ominous organ music. Yeah. You'd know it if you heard it. It's got the fucking church bells. Then there's Chasing the Man in Black, which plays at certain dramatic moments as you work through the world. And then I think there's one more that I'm forgetting, but then there's actual one-winged angel.
Do you like Gregorian chanting? I bet you do.
Which we've already talked about this, but I love how they, basically, everybody remember when you watched the opening movie the first time when they premiered it, and they spiced up the intro cinematic and music a little bit, where they just put hints of it in there?
Mm-hmm.
That's basically how this entire game takes the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the right beats. Like, man, I don't know. It really raised my spirits when even though I'd already seen it, but when you fire it up, and it gets about to that moment, it does the gentle strings, da, 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 and then it builds to the actual, like, title fanfare. It's just like, damn, so good. And then it goes into bombing theme, which is one of the greatest and most iconic tracks in the game.
Oh, man.
It's really good. And every character has their leitmotifs: Tifa's theme, Barrett's theme, Aerith's theme. We're emotional because Aerith's theme is used in some of the most poignant moments of the original. If you don't get it. Also, just listen to it. It's a beautiful piece. It's very piano heavy.
I used to be able to play it on guitar and piano. That's how much I fucking... God. And then it's like, I'm just here, and I'm just like, no! My heart! Here's the thing, they didn't have to change Aerith's themes much. That's how fucking iconic it is.
No, they literally just... Because all of it's... Other than One Winged Angel, which was an actual honest-to-God MP3, because there's vocals in it, all of the original music was in MIDI format.
Yeah.
So all they really have to do with Aerith's theme is actually, like, orchestrate it, make it with a real goddamn piano.
Mm-hmm.
Not that people haven't been doing that for years. But there's, Barrett's theme, which they do kind of a Western remix for, with the discs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember Tifa's theme off the top of my head. I recognize it if I heard it, but it doesn't pop to me right away. That's how much music there is in this game. I can't remember what theme is what unless I hear it.
Even if I hear it, I'll know what it... Even if I hear it, I won't be able to say, oh yeah, this is the music that plays around...
Right, exactly, that's what I said. I had to go, like, search for which one those chosen by the planet was, because I'm like, fuck, I recognize this music. This is from this part, and that part, and the other part. What's it called again? Because honestly, the other problem is a lot of these have similar names. There's a lot of Planet. There's a lot of Chocobo. Yeah, there's those chosen by the planet. The Nightmare Begins. Sid has a very iconic theme that'll be interesting to hear. Also, actually, yeah, I think we glossed over that earlier, but Rogue Robin was like, Sid is playable in this game? Yes. Sid is one of your core characters. He's gonna be real fun to play because one of his special moves is throwing dynamite. He's also your Dragoon type character, so he's got jump, which will probably be a default command. Very curious how they're gonna handle, because his ultimate limit break is he just summons the high wind to shoot the shit out of everybody.
I'm pretty sure, the high, I don't know, people like saying we're gonna have a second game. Who knows? We might have a
I think most people are counting there will be at least 3, because there are 3 discs, right? However, I'm also pretty sure that's not how it's actually going to work out, because again, we talked about this. Midgar is only 5 or 6 hours tops. It is a tiny sliver of Disc 1. A tiny sliver. Hey, Tyrana, we see you. You having problems with Discord? No, you took it back. Okay. Well, anyway. But, let's see. Disc 1 takes you all the way to the Lost Capital. You don't start Disc 2 until you get towards North Crater. So, that's 2 or 3 whole continents. It's nuts. I'm pretty sure the next one to this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Calm, which is just the flashback, basically. There's not actually anything to do in Calm. They might spice it up with some side quests or something. Probably.
Like I said, you've definitely been having a theme of, hey, you're a merc. Why don't you go do some merc things and, help people
That'll
out.
probably also lead into Fort Condor, because that's also very much excuse to tie into the whole thing with them, like Shinra and Barrett, right? Set that up again. Remind you why you're in this fight. We may or may not get the actual Chocobo Ranch as a thing. There's a couple of world map sectors in there, which might be interesting. They've got to have the shot of the fucking impaled Midgar Zalam, because that's another iconic shot. But after Fort Condor, there's Junon. That's a big segment, because it's Junon, Rufus's parade, the boat, all that stuff. Then there's Costa del Sol. We're going to see sunbathing Hojo.
Surrounded by chicks, somehow.
The ladies love Hojo.
They made Hojo real, because you don't get a lot of Hojo in the original. He just shows up, a little bit. Here, he basically gets to treat you as science experiments for a little bit.
Yeah, which is good, because the thing is, it's the problem is that all of Final Fantasy VII turned out to be Hojo's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But he really doesn't. The game really doesn't lean into that. Like, you only really find that out at a certain very dramatic conclusion, very at the end, as you are running down the list of Shinra executives very rapidly. But yeah, basically they there's a lot going on there, and some of that you only find out if you get Vincent, because Vincent and Hojo are very tied together in a backstory way. Fuck, that's actually the whole climax of Dirge of Cerberus. Dirge of Cerberus is secretly Vincent and Hojo fighting about a girl again. And also fucking over the world while they're at it. Thanks, Hojo. On the other hand, Dirge of Cerberus' plot is going to make a lot more sense considering we're kind of updating the technology theme. Because it relied heavily on internet, which you were like, there was no internet in Final Fantasy VII. Now there probably is. But yeah, so that's Costa del Sol, and I think after that it's Gungana. Gold Saucer. Oh, wait, I should say North Coral and Coral Reactor. Those are going to be a big deal. Gold Saucer. And then Nibelheim. And then Rocket Town.
Oh, Rocket Town.
That's going to be... that's going to be an interesting one, because a lot of... we've talked about how they've kind of softened the narrative. There's a character dynamic in Rocket Town that involves Sid that I'm going to be very, very interested to see how they do that. Will Sid be as much of an asshole? Will he tell us to sit down and drink our goddamn tea?
I kind of hope they do.
I have to imagine that at least in the localization they'll keep that just for the heck of it.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, talk about foreshadowing. That's something I've noticed a lot more of. They're really hammering this train only goes one way metaphor. They only say that like maybe 3 or 4 times, I think, in the original.
Mm.
But this time it's like constantly, there's only 2 ways off this tightrope. This train only goes one way. Like, okay, I get it.
Barrett, calm down.
It's an iconic metaphor. You don't have to keep telling me. I was in Soldier, damn it.
First class.
Ex-soldier. And then whenever somebody talks about him being a soldier, he's like, ex-soldier. Like, okay. Also, that's a very interesting interaction with the president. The president immediately looks at Cloud's baby blues and is like, hey, you must have been in Soldier. You have Mako eyes. Also, by the way, dropping another dramatic one where he's like, by the way, Cloud, you're gonna fucking die. And Cloud's just like, whatever, dude.
Cellular degradation.
Which is probably why Roche really wants to go out in a blaze of glory.
I love Roche.
Roche is pretty cool. I think he's original to Remake?
Yes.
As far as I can tell. But that's cool. That's good. Like I said, we need more of those characters, because the Turks kind of do that role in the original, but very inconsistently. I haven't met the Turks yet. I'm about to. I'm going to meet Reno soon. And we should probably mention the unfortunate news that Reno's Japanese voice actor, who also does the Japanese Axel, did pass away recently.
Yes.
It's very sad.
It is very sad.
But I do believe that the Turks kind of played that quirky mini-boss role a lot, but also they were optional some of the time. Like, they're in front of Gongana, so you can literally miss an encounter with them.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, actually, will Elena be at all in Remake? Is she?
Well, no, I can tell you right now, she's not in this one.
No,
you do
okay.
get to see Sang. You do get to see Sang.
Well, I was about to say, because she only comes in after... She gets promoted, basically, after you kick the shit out of Rude and Reno a couple times. Or does Sang get injured doing something? Maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember.
But she only shows up later outside of Midgar, so I was like, wow, are they going to even mention her? And no. Which makes sense, but still. Yeah, it's very... like you said, there's a lot of characters. They're adding new characters. It's going to be very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
But it really builds on them, because you're really, like... Again, the game's only like... The Midgar section's only like 6 hours. You really blow past Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
Where this, they're really going whole hog. Jesse has a fucking backstory. It's sad. She was an actress at Gold Saucer. Which, by the way, that's a great meta joke, because I'm like, hey, I remember that. Because she says that she was the princess, and I'm like, I remember that. That's in the date.
Mm-hmm.
Wedge's characterization is kind of the same, but it's still pretty... It's good to see him actually, like, work through it, right? Mm-hmm. And be like, hey, Cloud, you're my bro, Cloud. And Cloud's like, don't call me that. Never speak to me again.
He's gonna keep speaking to you.
Cloud, you want to see my cats? Not really, no. And the cats all hate Cloud, because cats apparently hate Cloud for some reason. It's probably symbolic. But so there's that. And then Biggs is just a cool dude. He's just cool. He's just here.
Bro,
You
got the big gun?
Yeah. He seems like he's the one really keeping this thing on an even keel when Barrett's not here. Or possibly when Barrett is not an even keel.
Yeah. But unfortunately that means he's prone to over-worrying. It's like, shit.
Because he's a workaholic, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And no, the memes are not kidding. Jessie is very thirsty.
But you might find out later that she might just be putting on a front. Who knows?
Well, yeah, because they talk about her being an actress, right? So it's really hard to tell. Is she being... Because I feel like they made psych almost her catchphrase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she said it a couple times. So it's like, are you really that hot for Cloud? Because I could see it. Cloud Strife is a beautiful man. He's skinny, but he's ripped.
Do you see that giant arm piece of iron he swings around artfully and dexterly?
His sleeves are very short, guys. And that is clearly for a purpose.
Freedom of movement.
His weird sleeveless sweater.
I'm still kind of shocked it's a fucking sweater. And why are there just fucking bolts in his fucking shoulder pad?
I know, they did a lot of detail ups, but Cloud's look is probably the most unchanged.
Yeah.
Other than maybe Barrett, but Barrett still got modernized a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is clearly wearing a ballistic vest now. He has dog tags. His gun arm is more realistic because it's got a whole sleeve thing where it's tied to his arm.
Mm-hmm.
But Cloud's is mostly the same, which reminds you, man, Cloud's original outfit is a little goofy because he's wearing the soldier or Shinra whatever standard issue sweater, but it's got no sleeves. His one shoulder guard has bolts in it. His pants or coveralls or whatever they are super baggy. I hope he has pockets in there.
I'm looking at his pants right now. I'm like, yeah, I see pockets.
Okay, good. He's got all that space. He's got to have some pockets in those things.
He has 2 belts.
Of course. Well, that's where Number is directing.
But he has this weird bracer thing that just is covered in more bolts. I'm just like, what is this glove?
He also doesn't have a black leather coat, which apparently is part of the soldier dress code. Maybe he lost it along with his second shoulder pad.
Doesn't he have a big coat in...
Oh no, in Advent Children, oddly enough, Cloud's look is a lot like Sephiroth's because that's where he gets his big one-sleeved, one-sided coat tail and wears all the tight black stuff, and he puts on his fucking motorcycle goggles and stuff.
I'm still trying
Advent
to
Children Cloud, aka Kingdom Hearts 2 Cloud. Definitely not Kingdom Hearts 1 Cloud, who is just Cloud cosplaying as Vincent. Though, if they wanted to do that as an optional costume, I'd love to see that in this art style. Vincent will also probably be pretty interesting to look at, because Vincent's got a very busy design. He's got his long, raggedy red coat. He's got one spooky claw gauntlet. He's got his guns. He has a lot of belt buckles. What the fuck is Vincent's last name? Vincent Valentine, that's right. I'm dumb. Who could ever forget Vincent Valentine?
So edgy.
Listen, enemies can't catch you if you have too many edges. This is very small. Is there a higher resolution of this? Yeah. So for the audience, because you guys won't have seen Vincent at all if you're only following the remake. Here's Vincent. Look at that guy. Look at this motherfucker. By the way, he wears the headband because he got shot in the face.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay now, though. He's only just a vampire werewolf Frankenstein demon.
Oh yeah, this is Advent's Children Cloud, by the way.
Yeah, that's his look in there, where he's got his sneakers. He's still wearing that dumb sweater, but he's got his leather coat over it, and he's got the fusion blade, which is possibly the most ridiculous Cloud weapon that has ever existed. It's 6 swords.
Oh no, it's more ridiculous because he can just slot him into his fucking bike finier.
Oh yeah, that's right. He has a custom bike which has a rack for all 6 swords, even though they combine to become 1 sword. God, I love Cloud so much.
I love Fenrir so much.
Fenrir's cool. It's a shame that is almost assuredly he's not gonna get a custom bike in this game. But hopefully they keep the whole bike engine. So some of them are, but they're not usually. So they usually the tradition is that they're all different worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're entering a chance to inquire about the sequencing. So 8 and 7 are separate. 13 did a big thing where it was 13 and then 13-2, 13-3, etc. And some games have a shared setting, but usually they are all under the all of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII games are titled Final Fantasy VII blah 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 something. You know,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core. Final Fantasy VII, Dirge of Cerberus. You know,
There
to
have
let you know
been
that they're all in the same world.
there have been theories and whatnot of certain Final Fantasies have been like connected in esoteric ways. Like there are some people who like to say that Final Fantasy X is the precursor to Final Fantasy VII because in X-2 there's a kid named Shinra who discovers a massive energy source of life beneath the planet that can be tied to power things. But nothing's ever really been confirmed.
But also that could just be a reference because as a ongoing series, which are generally not connected, Final Fantasy loves to reference other shit. It's like,
yes.
I've been playing through 12. I constantly talk about how the, all of the classic Final Fantasy summons are airship names. So there's like the airship Leviathan. Oh, interesting. That could be just a callback though. But there's airship Leviathan, the Sky Fortress Bahamut, Ifrit, Shiva, etc.
Mm-hmm.
The Alexander, stuff like that. So they just love to acknowledge those other games, and sometimes there's direct inspiration. Lightning from Final Fantasy 13 was directly inspired as, hey, what if we actually made Cloud a girl?
That's why her name's Lightning.
Yes. Though I got to be honest, it's been a long time since I tried to play 13, and I don't know if she gets any better, but comparing Cloud's characterization in VII Remake to Lightning in 13, I'm like, wow, we went some different directions, kids. Because that is the thing about Cloud, is that, especially, it's true in the original, but people sometimes forget. And also he has a whole character arc, too, is the thing. But in Remake, they play it up a little bit. His, like, again, like we said, the ping pong between, I'm a huge badass, or I have no idea what I'm doing. And sometimes, I'm a huge badass who has no idea what he's doing, but don't question me.
First class.
But yeah, it's really, I'm wondering again, there's two things I wonder about the future. Well, I wonder lots of things about the future, but with like, specifically with character designs, one, will there be costumes ever? Like, would they do different models for different characters at different points? Cause in the game, Cloud stays in the same outfit the whole time, even though at periods you go through deserts, or you literally can freeze your ass off climbing a mountain in the cold. So will there be like, Snow Cloud? Or will they just keep to the same trick? But also, people, again, they talked a lot about the glow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Barret is pretty similar, Cloud's pretty similar. Tifa has been changed a little bit to make her more, not necessarily to downplay her sexuality, because, again, a lot of leg, a lot of navel.
A lot of navel. Her chest is still fucking huge,
Also, yes, there was a side-on shot, and I'm just like, oh no, Tifa, you're still huge.
Mm-hmm.
They're just under control because, hey, guess what? She's a martial artist. She's wearing a sports bra now.
I think some people's idea of breasts has been, pun intended, inflated by watching a lot of anime and video games and whatnot.
Well, and also that was, first of all, Tifa's chest size was very inconsistent in the original, because it again, like I said, it ping pongs between. There's basically three versions of everybody's model. There's the world map model where Tifa's chest was probably proportional but very pointy. There's the in-battle model where she looks about the same proportions as she does in this game. And then there was the pre-rendered cutscene models where she was very large and very jiggly. Just because that was easier to render. Again, large shapes. But yeah, now she's got this under control. She's like wearing more like straps and securing. She's got more protection on like her knees and elbows and stuff. Aerith seems pretty much the same, but that's because she was literally just wearing a dress the whole time. But like I said, I want to see what they do with Vincent, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He was at least the protagonist of a more modern game, so let me actually pull up. Is there a good picture of him in Dirge? Oh, here's one. So, copy.
Pasto.
This is how he looks in Dirge, mostly, audience, which is basically the same, but a little more detailed. Like, his cloak's a little more jagged and ragged because they can actually pull that look off. I think he has more belts. His gun hand glove goes all the way up, but his gauntlet is smaller. So this will probably be more like what he looks like in the remake universe. Oh, also he has knee pads in Dirge, which they'll probably keep some of those extra details, because that is a thing, like we said, about the limitations. These character designs were either very low polygon models on the world map, they were very static battle models, or they were concept art like this original Vincent. So I'll be very interested to see what they do with other characters, because these models are just great. Excuse me. Everything is just really good. All right. We talked about music. We talked about gameplay. We've talked about story stuff.
Yeah, we can't get into too much until you actually beat him.
Oh no, there's going to be a whole second episode of this, which will probably be next week because it is only like 40 hours.
Yeah, as I said, I clocked. Well, you're alternating between this and P5. So
well, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing alternating days. That's my system. Today is a Final Fantasy VII day.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like, because as I said, I'll let you know the spirit things. They're called whispers. We'll be able to talk about those in depth and what they may imply for later things. We can talk about future boss fighters, story beats, and other Divergence era issues. And yeah, I think probably I don't know if you can get it done by next week.
It's totally impossible.
It's impossible, but we will see.
We'll see where we're at. But there will be a big boy spoiler episode about Remake. So the only other thing I think about Final Fantasy VII I want to talk about maybe is just that I really like the aesthetic setup. It was true in the original, but it's way more emphasized because you can really get the scale of the Midgar and the plate and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just love this aesthetic of like, oh, there's these big boy rich people on the top, and then there's people underneath the rotting pizza. By the way, that's another thing. They really lean on the pizza metaphor a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was not that prominent in the original. I think it was just a line Barrett said, and it was the name of a soundtrack title.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, I think they do a better job at. They don't make all of the plate dwellers.
The classic themes, I think.
Yeah, they reinforce, but like definitely, there's a moment where I remember this. When you're in the Shinra building, walking around doing whatever because people don't care. You walk through a building, like it's like midnight, and there's still people in Shinra work and be like, "Oh my god, the plate just fucking failed. How did they fail? How do we deal with this?"
There's those assholes who talk to Barrett who are very loyal workers, which I'm gonna guess is probably commentary on the Japanese work ethic, because
I don't think so too. Yeah,
the talkie guy is very much he's called a Shinra middle manager. He looks a lot like a stereotypical Japanese salaryman. He's got a suit, he's got a little pin, he's got slick back dark hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh no, this is once again somebody is having a commentary thought, which Final Fantasy VII is perfect for. Mm-hmm. But like, I love this ensemble and this mechanic, and like my immediate thoughts were like, man, what's the best way to capture this ethos? And I thought this would be a really cool, and part of this is just because, spoilers guys, I'm going to reference this to tabletop, and also I love Apocalypse World a lot. But my immediate thought was, man, this would make a really good like setup for an Apocalypse World game, where you are the guys in the slums, which are basically so bad and so resource scarce as to be almost post-apocalyptic, and there's these rich assholes literally living above you, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Cloud is totally a battle babe. But yeah, so that was just my thoughts of just like, oh no, this would be really interesting to take on it. Also, gosh, I gotta play Apocalypse. We're gonna run Apocalypse World again sometime. It's real fun. But yeah, I think it's everything.
Yeah, we'll probably talk more.
I can talk. We'll talk more about 7 in Toto when I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I may in the future. I'm probably next week gonna go back to Final Fantasy XII Zodiac. I did a special Persona 5R stream this week, just because I explained it on stream, but I happened to get to a very interesting timing point, so I was able to do a very gimmicky stream and do Best Girl stream. Spoilers: Best Girl is Makoto. But it was a big one. It was like 4 hours. I'm probably not going to do that again because I'm again like 10 to 15 hours past that point again already. I gotta be honest. I've also been thinking about that. Because Makoto has a very hard block in her confidant. Well, I'm gonna talk about Persona 5R for a little bit if you don't mind looking.
Go for it.
Because I'm just over 50 hours in. I have just finished my finals. About to do summer vacation. That means we're coming up on one of my other favoritist girls. It's Futaba, by the way. And there's a lot of fun stuff happening. So Robin is talking about Kasumi. Yeah, that's great. Her social link is really interesting and great, and so this is something that I realized that they did kind of miss in the first P5, the first version, because we talked about that, right? Like 7 is a remake. Royal is just an expansion version. It's really the same game, just with some added features to compare versus remake. But so in P3, you are second years, and you have senpai characters. Hey, guess what? I also really like Mitsuru. Spoilering nobody. And was Fuka a first year, or was she also a second year? I think she was a second year like you. She was just in a different class. Because there are different class rooms. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been a long time since I played P3. But there were characters like there were characters who filled the younger than you slot who you could like be mentor to. Ken comes to mind, for instance. I mean, he wasn't in. Well, okay, so he wasn't in high school, but he was also a prodigy, so he was able to keep up with the high school age characters. But in P4, you're you're a second year, and you don't really have senpai characters, but you have multiple kohai characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have both Kanji and Risei, who I really liked in P4. I was a Risei guy.
Yeah, Risei. Honestly, Kanji was great too.
Kanji's a great character.
Yeah.
So in P5, they kind of split the difference because age-wise, Futaba is... I think Naoto is also a year under you. She calls you senpai.
Mm.
So that's kind of a different thing, right? Is what I'm saying in P4. Beyond your core group of friends, like the original 4 Scoobies are all in the same class, same year. And then most of your additional party members are your juniors. So you're kind of... It makes sense as you're the leader of the team, so you're really in charge. Whereas with C's, it was a little weird because you were like, Mitsuru-senpai is really in charge, but you're the field leader. Because plot. The games got slightly better about constructing the narrative as it went on. So in P5, as I was saying, Makoto obviously is not the same, but she has kind of a similar vibe to Mitsuru. She is your hard-assed senpai kind of character. And they have similar themes of like exploring expectations and stuff, but they have different relations to the plot and what they do. Also different requirements, like, if I recall correctly, Mitsuru to date her, aka to do her social link at all, because P3 was back in the day when all lady social links were romantic. Which means if you wanted to do a 100% run, you had to bang a lot of ladies. But to do her social link at all, you had to have max brains and come first on one of your exams. So it was a really big deal. Whereas Makoto, for really dumb reasons, needs you to be max charm. I know, it was a great roadblock to me in my soul. But so she's a senpai. Haru also is, because she's the same year as Makoto, though Haru comes in late. But she's also the senpai type, but she's kind of soft and floofy. Her character archetype almost reminds me kind of Fuka, though Fuka is not quite as violent. She's still, part of her thing is she grows a spine. Haru grows a spine and then turns that spine into an axe and kills dudes.
And a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Her persona is covered in guns for some reason. Gee, I wonder why. But so Futaba is younger than you, and you do kind of play a mentorship role, but she doesn't go to school, so she's not really a Kohai type character, right?
She's kind of more of a Moto type character, honestly.
Yes, she is, because that is really the vibe you get. If you don't date Futaba, it really is like, this is your adoptive family. Yeah. Futaba is your sister, Sojiro is your new dad. Cause
honestly, every time I beat like P5, I was like, why do I have to leave Coffee Dad? You're way cooler than my parents. Yeah. My parents just literally kicked me out of the house. Not that we know
Joker's parents, but on the scale of sucking of the later 3 personas, P3's parents are dead. Though there is a long-standing theory, because all the personas kind of take place in the same world.
Yeah.
There is a long-standing theory that Naoto is secretly the P3 protagonist's younger sister.
I can see it.
It doesn't quite work out, but it's a fun theory. Because her parents died in a car accident. And she went to
now that I think about it, they actually do kind of look a little similar.
Yes, they have very similar character designs. But in P4, your parents just work overseas and send you to live with your uncle. It's not a big deal. And honestly, that makes sense why you have to leave Inaba at the end, because, well, your parents are coming back, dude. You gotta go. You gotta move on with your life, Chief. In P5, your parents don't believe you about your criminal record and sell you out and hook you up with Sojiro Sakura, who, well, he's not even...
it wasn't even that. It was one of his customers knew your parents and brought up.
Right, it was a friend of a friend thing, and because Sojiro is actually a cool dude under his hard-ass exterior, he eventually, he lets you into his heart and his home. And sometimes you reward him by banging his daughter. But anyway, she's adopted. It's okay.
It's okay.
In that case, you're just son-in-law. But yeah, she's very much the younger sister character. So Kasumi is way the Kohai type. Like, you bail her out of trouble, you help her with her training, you're supportive to her, and she's totally like, oh my gosh, senpai, you're so cool. It'll be really interesting to see your character development go. I'm only on Pip 3.
Mm-hmm.
Though the game completely fucking flabbergasted me. This isn't really, I don't think it's a spoiler, but you won't be at this point because you've been playing 7. But after you do finals, as an excuse for why you can't do any shit, the game gives you a mandatory event where you bump into Kasumi and Akechi, and you have a hangout time with them. And I'm just like, wow, game, you're really hammering this home. That I need to hang out with these guys. I also apparently, this is where I learned that Kasumi's dad is a TV producer, which is how she knows Akechi. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Again, no spoilers. This is an actual mechanic now you should be aware of. Akechi is a real boy social link. You have to actually go hang out with him.
I think we were talking about this yesterday, how we hope that might change things.
Yes,
later.
I'm very curious to see where that goes. I believe Axe said that to make sure to get the extra semester, you have to complete Akechi's link, which makes sense because it's actual new content now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. You actually hang out with him, and by the way, to get to his 3rd rank, you have to have 3 in knowledge and also charm. Game. Talking about the vibes. Yes, I don't think he needs any more requirements to continue. You just have to keep an eye out because he's also another night boy. Thanks, game. Luckily, it's only July, but I'm almost done with Mishima. I've got Mishima at 8. I'm doing phenomenal in this game, by the way. I have a 4 in knowledge and a 3 in everything else going into summer break.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That 4 in knowledge is because I did all the studies with everybody, but still. I've got, like, Anne and Ryuji are both at, like, 7. Mishima's at 8. So I'm actually, like, I think Takemi is also at 8. I'm getting pretty close to closing out a couple of confidants already, which is amazing because, man, that gives you so much time. Which I need. I need that time because you need to hang out with Kasumi to do her social link. She calls you up on her phone to go train. And then you gotta hang out with Akechi. But it's pretty funny to actually, like, hang out with him. And honestly, it's way better than the way the game did before, which is, hey, dude, I'm gonna talk at you for, like, 5 minutes. We're close now. Okay?
Okay.
Counselor's pretty rad. He gives you more SP. I like him. Yeah, he gives you extra SP. Kasumi gives you extra HP. She gives you 5 HP every time. Increases your stamina. Also, Counselor's a cool guy. I hope he's not secretly evil or something. Because, one, I talked about this before, I appreciate a positive adult role model who is not a chick Joker can bang. Which is a semi-legitimate criticism about P5, is that Joker has a lot of these technically illegal relationships with older ladies, but who cares? That's the best part.
Actually, I was actually thinking about this. You see about you look at P5 and actually you can look at it through 2 lenses. Like on one lens, if you look at through like the player characters, yeah, you are fucking, rebellious teenagers, sticking it to like shitty adults. But then I actually got this weird niggle. What if you look at it through the other end? These are just a bunch of teenagers getting into a whole bunch of dangerous weird shit of being like rebellious assholes.
And that's kind of the crux of it, right? Because the game is ultimately about how these kids have to take matters into their own hands because adults are not sheltering them. Actually, so Makoto goes to see the counselor after you complete Kanashiro's palace and stuff, and he actually literally says, it sounds like the adults who should be protecting you are putting a lot of expectations on you. And Makoto literally goes, adults who should be protecting me? ? I'm like, that's the core conflict of P5 right there.
Yep.
That adults should be looking out for these kids as the future, but they are not.
They are not. And
literally everyone is abused.
Everyone's abused, and the adults are like, why are these kids so rebellious? I'm like, why don't you understand?
And that's how you get that's where your confidence who adults come in, is because they understand. Old man's son, he's great. He understands because he is a politician pushing for the future. He's a cool guy. I love that one. It's pretty easy to set up too. But Kawakami is interesting because she has a lot of back and forth, right? Especially if you romance her. She literally goes, BT dubs, dude, we can't actually date until you're an adult, but when you go to college, maybe.
And it's like, nope, happening now. And she's like, oh no. You see my
this
charm?
One time, I'll wear the
you want to talk you want to touch my back muscles.
But Kawakami is also abused, is the thing, right? Like, she's in a bad position. That's why she's so dead inside. She's so 200% tired.
Well,
that she, literally, one of her one of her pips is she shows up when you call her, and she's like, "Okay, I need a 5-minute break," and she crashes on your fucking bed and takes a nap, and you're just like, "Okay, teach you can take 5 because I get to take 5 in your classroom."
Mm-hmm.
You know, but yeah, Oya has her whole thing with her friend, which is also very suggestive considering she goes to Crossroads. But she will at least date Joker also.
Yep.
I don't think she won't give you alcohol. That's too far. But yeah, fortune teller. I've heard that's really good, but I don't have 100,000 yen right now. Okay, guys. Fucking Mona keeps talking to me about it every night. He's like, "Ooh, it's real steep," but her predictions, and I'm like, "I'm broke, Mona. Okay, I'm trying to get these confidants out of the way. I can't take time off for my job, and I can't work at Crossroads yet. So I think you need charm. No, I need kindness 3 or 4 or something. I gotta check. It might be 4 charm, 4 kindness. But yeah, so there's a couple I still haven't worked on, but I'm definitely making sure whenever a catchy little icon pops up on my phone, I'm like, I'm there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to a cafe. Let's play billiards. That's right, you play billiards with a catchy. And during the phone call sequence at the end of it, he's like, "We should do that again sometime." You can do, one of the things you can say is, "As rivals," which of course I did. And he liked it. He approved. Well, Kawakami is, I don't want to say this in necessarily a derisive way, but Kawakami is very much Babu's first romance. Just because it's very obvious, and man, a lot of people are like, she's a maid and a teacher. I guess technically An is probably Babu's first romance, because she's the first female party member you get, and you can start working on her right away.
Yeah, I have to say, I think my first time I went for Kawakami, and then I went for Futaba, and then Makoto. Mm-hmm. Although I'm giving it's like I'm not like I want to be a filthy polygamist, and I want to have Kawakami and Takemi at the same time, and be like, yes, I am that asshole.
Okay, but they will destroy you.
They will destroy me.
Like, Valentine's will happen, and Takemi will just be like, use her goth powers and make you keel over.
Yeah.
By the way, I poisoned the chocolate. You have 5 minutes to find the antidote. Gasp.
Guess who has the antidote?
But yeah, like I said, depending on how the blocking, the cock blocking for attributes go, I do really like Kasumi, and I want to see what she's like. I may put off my deep love of Makoto and work on Kasumi instead as a romance option. I forgot you have to go pretty far to get the romantic split in this game.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, mine was in my 2 complete runs, because I went all the way through both times. It was Makoto and then Futaba. Yeah, most is like Bond 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
If not 10. Some of them, like, literally until the last minute don't give you the actual final choice. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, I appreciate, though, that, again, the game's gotten better about writing non-romantic friendships. Because, like I said, in 3, you literally had to date every girl. And in 4, the splits are a little bit earlier, and I gotta be honest, some of the time I felt kind of like a piece of shit. Because, like, the girls are it's still a little bit in P5, but in 4 it was very much like, they're really leaning on you to go for the love option, but you gotta save yourself for that sweet, sweet idol. Yukiko's cool too, I guess.
Yeah, I like Yukiko.
A lot of people like Naoto, but the problem is Naoto is the Haru of P4 in that she only comes in at the very end, but also she's like Makoto in that she needs you to be good at fucking everything, which is always a pain in the butt. Yeah. Well, P5 has the Valentines where you just fucking die. The original P4 had a pretty... it has a pretty brutal Christmas is the thing, too. Because your friends and loved ones will all call you to hang out on Christmas Day. Whereas... Well, actually, P5 does that, too, if you have multiple romances, I believe. I've never 2-timed in P5.
Nah.
Mostly because they really lean heavily on the game punishing for you for that. I find it funny how much they flipped, right? Like I said, in 3, you literally had to, so the game couldn't sass you. But once you could actually choose to be romantic or friendly in, like, 4 and 5, the game is very much making you feel like a piece of shit for having multiple lovers. Even though I gotta be honest, if anybody could pull it off, it's that boy Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So smooth, so silent, so tall. I keep remembering Joker's so fucking tall. Like that's almost a funny thing about hanging out with Futaba is she's so small and Joker is huge.
It's the fucking it's the Oni-san of vibes. You know.
Yeah, I mean when I say huge, I just mean he's tall and gangly.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're still like a head taller than Makoto.
You won't be a head taller when she has you on the ground stepping on you. Oh, queen.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, who does this? Who does all the voices in P5? I don't actually know that.
Oh man, I'm forgetting. I think it's on Nana Mizuki.
I want the Japanese voice cast. Thank you.
It's the English one. Persona 5. Will it list the original ones in IMDb? Yes, kind of. Futaba is Aoyuki.
Okay, that makes sense. Why I immediately went for her then.
Mm-hmm. Ryuji is Mamoru Miyano. Joker is obviously in Japanese Jun Fukuyama, aka Lelouch, a great casting joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yusuke is Tomokazu Sugita. I was right, Anne is Nana Mizuki, who was Fate in Nanoha, and also sings. I don't recognize the name for Haru's voice actress off the top of my head. Haruka Tomatsu?
Do not know.
Oh, shit. In Japanese. This one may have passed me by a little bit, but Sojiro is Joji Nakata.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Here, I've got the IMDb credits is full for both.
Oh, speaking of which, that's a fucking great joke. And 7, so Air's VA is Maya Sakamoto, and Zack's VA is actually Maya-san's husband, which is funny because she also plays Da Vinci, and that same voice actor also is the voice actor for Romani. And
Cloud's VA is Arthur and Merlin.
Yes.
They we said this on Let's Talk FGO yesterday. There's a lot of Fate alums tied into the FF7 cast. And have been for a while. Because that's... Yeah. In Japanese, that cast has been pretty static since, I think, Advent Children.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm way much further behind in P5R. I'm still in Madarame's.
Yeah, well, that's because you, like I said, first of all, your copy came earlier than mine. Mine did come on the Tuesday, but it was still a little bit delayed. Mm-hmm. But also, like I said, I've adopted my alternating system, so I am literally doing them alternating days. Whereas you jumped right into 7 and didn't stop, basically. Right? Oh, I'm a little sleepy. Well, that's because it's 10 o'clock, Genius.
Yeah, should we start wrapping up? We really didn't talk about gacha games or anything.
Probably, but there's not really much going on. Azure Lane is gearing up for the Amagi rerun.
Looks like they actually might have new ships. Oh, no.
There's going to be a new ship, yes. One of the other Kaga sisters. What was her name again? I don't remember. Is Panda still here? Panda remembers.
Panda!
Penguin Man remembers everything. I don't know if anything's going on across Frontline. And there is the Arknights event. It's happening, but it's not really that interesting overall, because it's just a points ladder thing. We don't get special maps or nothing.
Mm.
So we could skip all that. Yeah, we could wrap up, because I have.
Oh yeah, you are tired.
Well, yeah, we have been talking for basically 2.5 hours,
mm-hmm.
And it is getting late, and I wasn't drinking a lot of water. Ah, well, I'll be all right. I'll go back to 7 after this. But yeah, so let's see. I already said I haven't really watched any anime yet because I've been playing video games really hardcore. Yeah, I guess if there's not anything else that you really want to mention to the audience, we can just make this the one that's really about. We've done that several times. Several times we've had episodes. I think we had multiple shows that were just about Death Stranding for 3 hours.
Yeah. I guess anime-wise, I can just say that I watched the Bunny Girl Senpai movie that came out on Funimation, and I cried. It was actually funny. We were playing Jackbox the other day, and a prompt came up in Fib. It's like, when was the last time you cried at TV? And I was like, oh shit. It's like, if that happened now, I'd just be like, last night.
Yes. Jackbox continues to be popular in the community. We actually did that last night after the show.
Mm-hmm.
Which was hard. Jackbox is fun. There's some interesting stuff there. I am proud that I got in on another round of Madverse City, and I came in third this time as opposed to dead last. That's a triumph. That was good. I actually got some sweet rhymes in there.
Everyone got completely horny on me with Monster Seeking.
Oh yeah, Monster Seeking Monster's a blast. Which I think that one went pretty good because the first game you stole it.
I did.
And then the second game I got really good with my monster choice and I completely blew it the fuck out.
Yeah, you did.
I was the Glob. It was real easy to slut it up. I just pretended to be a goo girl. Monster Seeking Monster is a lot of fun. I do like, though, speaking of the audience in Jackbox, they tried to sell us hard on bracketeering, and it almost backfired.
Almost.
Even then, I'm still a little like, I will definitely probably yell at that game in the future.
I almost had to fight everybody.
Yeah, it was a little. So we should explain that if you haven't played bracketeering, because I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I'll sass you. I mean, like, so the second game I was a little sassy because I didn't get my answer in, which is a shame. But it was so the way it works is it's literally a bracket tournament, and then you vote on it, as many people have done before. But it's gamified. The first round is a straight up voting thing, and it really sucks. It sucks a lot. It's just people write in answers, and a lot of them are dumb, and then you have to pick one you like, and one is probably really popular and wins. Then the second round, things are actually interesting because it's called the triple blind round, and it changes the prompt every time. So it changes most gameplay a lot because it swaps up. Like, so the prompt we were given to write was pick an animal larger than you. Mm-hmm. And then the actual first round question was, what's the best nickname at summer camp? What was the second one?
I don't remember.
But they were good, so it was like, okay, this works. But it's definitely a game that they really need to make a bracketeering to, and just make it all the second round.
I remember the second time we did that better, because it was, name a liquid, and then, what is the best thing to surf on? Then, what is the best one to throw into someone's face? And then the last one, which one is the best one to swish inside your mouth for 5 minutes?
Which made it really funny the way you've been building up. Yeah, it had the turnaround.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the game seems a little chaotic, but they liked it, so we played it. We got in some more. You're talking about everybody being horny on Monster Seeking Monster. That's part of the genre, though. What's not, though, is when everybody gets really horny in Patently Stupid. Though having seen Patently Stupid, I think that's the only way you can go. Is either people make like dick jokes or they make like.
No, don't be sorry for the Fue prompt.
No, it was funny.
Yeah.
My drawing was awful, but it was funny. I've tweeted it after all. That's okay. There were sometimes, it was also because I was very tired that night too, because we just shot the show and I edited it. There were a couple where I was very much like, oh, fucking no. But we get very horny with Patently Stupid. Yes, when you did your pitch though, you lost that one. You got too much in your own head about what you wanted to say and you couldn't keep the rhythm. You gotta be careful. You gotta be loose. Gotta play it loose. And just say whatever. And then we did Split the Room also, which is really fun. Split the Room is a game that I think every time we've played, I've won all the rounds. Yeah. And that always surprises me because I always say after I write a prompt, I'm like, I fucked it up. And then somehow I get like a 3-4 and I'm like, okay. I guess I just have some weird Twilight Zone superpower. That may have been while you were playing with others. I'm pretty sure both the times I've played it, we did 2 rounds and I won both back to back. Definitely last night I did. Again, shocking me. Though it's funny, it was, Dallas I think was behind me by like 15 points, but then he had the most dislikes at the end. I'm just like, But yeah, Jackbox is fun, we continue to do it. Oh, fuck no. No, you're talking about me watch anime? You kidding? Mm-hmm. The chat asked me if I got further in JoJo. No. When do I have time to do that? When do I have time to watch anime? I'd love to, but I need to get these big boy games out of the way. No, but I need my eyes. I don't know. Like, Lucky I understand, because Lucky you've said your grasp of Japanese is a little bit better than mine. You can usually play it by ear.
Yeah.
And then double check the subs. I really can't. Because I find myself defocusing from what I'm working on or looking at to either I'm actually paying attention to the fucking anime, either by reading subs or watching the action, because that's the important part, actually consuming the media. Or I just don't do my game. So no, I can't watch subs and play phone games. I can't read 2 things at once.
Yeah, the way Lucky does it is like super quickly read the English prompt and then basically match up what the English says to the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Then I basically put whatever I'm doing, like whatever auto bit I can in the game to go, and then I watch the action. And I just have this really weird balance of doing it all at the same time.
Yeah, like I guess technically I can do Arknights, but that's because when I'm doing Arknights, that's literally just auto battle, possibly for many minutes at a time. But in general, I can't FGO is way too fiddly.
And here's the problem. If it's something that like I'm not familiar with, like something that's completely new, I generally don't want to
Same
do that because, like as I said, like that's why I haven't watched the Violent Evergarden movie yet because that's something I actually want to pay full attention to. But if it was something like a new episode of My Hero Academia where I already know the beats and stuff, like no, or something that like is just adaptation or something, or something.
I also can't really. I can do it a little, but I can't really watch new content with subs and relax at night in bed because I'm reading. Either I'll fall asleep and miss something, or I'll stay awake. So yeah, I just don't have time right now to like really get my binge on. That was kind of the beautiful thing about the way the first season was structured. Wow, I've completely forgotten what the second arc is called, but Phantom Blood and whatever the second one is that escapes me. But like those were pretty short, and I was able to in a Madman's binge, Battle Tendency. That's right. In a Madman's binge, I was able to get through like all 8 episodes or whatever of Phantom Blood in one night, and that was good. But now I have 2 big boy games to play. Final Fantasy VII. Once I'm all the way through, I should be able to like relax on. I'm only 50 hours into Persona 5, so there's a lot more hours left, kids. God, I hope so. Anyway, I hope I'm gonna hit that 120 hours mark. But all right, yes, I'm starting to get super sleepy. We've crossed the 2.5 hour mark. Let's wrap up. We talked about lots of video games.
Dragon's like, if I watch Ro Oshigoto, is that the one the Rio's work is never done? The one with the shogi player and the lot of lollies? Is that the one you're talking about? It's okay. It's a lot of loli loving, and that might throw some people off from it, but it's solid enough and comedic enough that I'd watch it once and I laugh and I had a good time, but I'm not really further interested in the like light novel and whatnot that it's based off of.
There's a drawing on Twitter, which I'm not sure if it's a P5R spoiler, but it's really cute, so I don't know what to do about this. I've hearted it for now. I don't know if I'll retweet it. Whatever. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I'm looking. My bad, I had to pull up the Rue I was never worn. Just one of the videos saying is like, it sucks. I'm like, yeah, that's what people would do. Oh no, they're small children in my animes.
Yeah, we've talked about the general community, and I think this was a couple weeks ago, but there was definitely some discussion in our community about what animes have the worst fandoms, because it is apparently a contest.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who it is. Honestly, I think the concept of fandom can be pretty equally shitty at times. But yes, there are definitely times when the quote unquote anime community really seems to get jazzed about stuff, and whether they're genuinely bothered, or just doing outrage marketing, who knows? Economics,
Volcanomics.
But that be how it be. Yeah, okay. Let's actually wrap up on that note. Because otherwise I'll go fall asleep. So, hey, if you watch this video on YouTube, be sure to give it a like if you liked it. If you have any comments, let me know in the comment section down below. You can also hit us up on our Discord. That link is, as always, in the description and on our channel page. Also, if you're new here and haven't already, please subscribe to our channel to always get our latest videos. And consider hitting that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. We didn't mention it, but Lucky actually streamed some Final Fantasy VII. You started at Sekiro and chill, and then you rage quit, and you played Final Fantasy VII instead.
Yeah.
The perfect cycle.
If we weren't I can still save that story for next week.
Yeah, if you want to talk about it more. Because we kind of glossed over any other stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yes, considering that bell for notifications so you can know when we stream stuff and when we post videos. And, of course, like it says at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and get this episode in audio format downloadable for as little as $1 a month, and it really helps us out. So, alright, we will see you next week for more What's Up. Check out our episode of Let's Talk FGO if you haven't already, but you probably have, because it seems to be very popular.
Yeah!
And stay tuned for streams and other content this week. So yeah, okay. I guess we just gotta get out of here.
Later, everybody.
I wanted to say Mako Bomb, but then I'm like, is that insensitive?